Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Labor Day sale at Ace. Now through Monday only, buy 2 gallons of our top paint brands, Valspar, Clark & Kensington, and Royal, and get the 3rd gallon free. And with the Ace Extra Mile promise, if it ever takes more than 1 trip to complete your paint project, we'll bring you what you need and delivery's free. Don't miss the buy 2, get 1 free paint sale, only at Ace. Limit 2 free gallons of equal or lesser value. Prices may vary. Delivery subject to availability. Visit acehardware.com for more details.
Pat, slap my ass! It's time for conversation with the big guy, pal!
Welcome to Conversation with the Big Guy. I am the big guy, Ryback, and I'm sitting here with the one, Pat Buck.
Man, what a day today. I'm happy to be here. It's a strange day. OJ is free. Chester Bennington.
Is he free today?
He's going to be let out of prison in October.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. He's here in Nevada, I believe.
Your state, the juice is loose in Nevada. They're the ones that decided that he will be a free man come October.
Weed is now allowed for recreational use here. OJ is running rampant down fucking the Las Vegas Strip. Mm-hmm. It is all-out chaos here in Las Vegas and Nevada. But
I'm happy to be here on another episode of Conversation with the Big Guy with perhaps the biggest heel on the internet, Ryback himself.
I prefer to be known as the most polarizing man in sports entertainment, Pat, if that's okay by you.
I love
it. Again, you created that. Thank you.
I like the poll. I also saw a tweet saying co-host calls Ryback polarizing, which is another word for everybody hates him.
Thank you. Just trying to live my life, Pat. That's all I'm trying to do here.
It's a dynamic, but it's not it's not genuine though. It's based off this. There's layers to this, and
it goes so deep. It's great. I told you I was going through the Twitter. Yesterday was a busy day on social media, and we will get into all this. But I was after the day ended, and I was like, man, I think I blocked more people in one day than I ever have in my throughout my career. And it was I was like, I wonder how many people I blocked, and I go, oh, it's not that many, but it was 5,000 I'm at now, and but that's I look at it like, oh. In this entire world and social media where everybody's miserable and only 5,000 people don't like me, I'm not doing too shabby.
5,000. That's like half of my followers. That's more. That's
somehow
incredible.
these 5,000 come to all the shows that I'm at, all throughout WWE my entire career.
And I think the big misconstraint, and we'll get into this obviously, is that things are said purposely to get listens or attention, and that couldn't be further from the fucking truth, man. This is all natural conversation that's taken out of context, for the most part, at least from what I've seen and what I've gathered. And there's been 2 days this week. I remember on Saturday I went to the gym and I went, oh boy, here goes the internet again with one subject. And then yesterday, oh great, here comes another. From what episode?
They've caught on that they could just create whatever they want, and it made people would rather be offended than actually find out the truth. So it's we live in a crazy, crazy world in these times. So it's funny. Everyone that listens to the podcast is like, "What are you guys talking about?" Mm-hmm. And it's kids and Warrens, as I call them, who are just lost souls of this world.
But wasn't Warren from Something About Mary? He was
sweet too. But these people are. I just like the name. I think it's funny.
Have you seen my wiener?
What?
Have you seen my wiener?
It's funny because I called my wife a Warren last week just because she had an ear infection.
Catching on already?
No, but she had an ear infection, and I was helping her try to there's a technique you could use to flush out the ear, but she has this big phobia where she can't have her ears touched, and she flinches, and just like Warren does in the movie. That's his one weakness. Yeah. He doesn't can't touch his ears. But you have a totally different take on what a Warren is, but I understand.
We've talked about this before on the show, actually, comparing them to Mogwais and Gremlins.
Yeah,
with the
which you've had
Gizmo.
plenty. I've seen plenty of tweets going after that as well.
Yeah. People are just overly sensitive to everything these days.
Fake
Can't
sensitive.
Yeah, it's just that's the way people are, and I don't see it getting any better going forward. But it's not meant. It's just Warren is. It's just more of a funny way of doing it. I feel like, and it's what I mean. Because
of course,
Warren up and it's they're obviously not nearly as nice as Warren, but it is what it is.
I think it's also nice to see I feel like it's for the first time. We've just started the Twitter with the CWTBG Twitter handle. There's a undercurrents of support too, and people getting out there and actually fighting on this show and on your and on my behalf, and that's really awesome to see, because it wasn't like that for a while, and now people are like, nope. And I don't know what to call that army, but I feel like they're slowly growing.
The Rybackers.
Of course. Why would why would they be?
It's no. Well, give me a name, Pat. You brought it up. I'm off the top of my head. That's what I came up with.
I couldn't think of anything. I was thinking Defenders. I'm like, they need a. I'll work on it. My creative process isn't quite what it used
If you
to be.
can't come up with a better, we'll put the name to the test on a poll vote. But I'll give you time to come up with a creative name. I'm open to anything on this.
Let's circle back. Last week we had just to circle the two big things or three big things that came out of last week's episode. Number one for me was people asking, what is the status of Mark for Life? This isn't question part, but I just wanted to kind of address that. Yeah. He was apprehended, but one thing I wanted to kind of put out there that I didn't say on the last episode is that I based the whole to catch a Mark segment around an actual Twitter user that was a real Twitter account that was insulting the show, insulting us, and left a horrible iTunes review. So that's how the idea started getting set. So if you want to listen back in the, I don't want to say archives, last fucking episode, that Twitter account and those tweets came from a real person. We just happened to put it to Mr. Furlife, who is now in a Twitter penitentiary.
You got to get the feedback for To Catch a Mark was outstanding, I thought, across the board. And you deserve all the credit for that.
Oh, thank you.
You put together that skit, and again, Shining Wizard Eddie with the edits really brought it all together. I thought it was. I in particular like the car driving up in the car door, and I don't know why, like footsteps. It was the whole thing. Just it made it like you could visually just picture Mark for Life showing up to meet Fight Forever Gal, and I thought he did a really good job of helping paint that picture to the listeners, and I'm glad everybody liked that. Just having fun on here.
Great job, Eddie. But now let's get into last week, the things that got you a little bit of attention. Do you want to start off? Do we delve right into it? Because this happened last week. I don't know if you're cool with this or not.
I think first, though, we had a good week of an interesting week of shows. We had 3 appearances last week. And I know that's probably shocking to certain publications out there. But it was a busy little weekend of signings and meet and greets and in-ring promos. And your show, Wrestle Pro, I thought was going to be canceled. But
oh my god,
the show. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and we'll get to the meat and potatoes later. So anyway, we had some good shows last. Where I had one show, you were on 3, even though the internet says you're not booked anymore. Mine was on Thursday, so. This event for me was a sold show, which I do a lot of these for festivals. I do a lot of them for, concert venues. That's part of my business. Now, this is the first time this event has ever done a sold show before, but they had the added benefit of having one of the most prestigious agricultural / carnival fairs in the Northeast. They have a really awesome festival. So their theory is, well, we bring bands for free. What if we do a wrestling event and try to, maybe make some ticket money, and people are there and it's free to stand, but if they want to buy a seat, they pay a surcharge, and you can enjoy the show. I did not take into consideration, because we were in an indoor venue, but the festival, the weather it was one of the worst monsoons, I think, or rain days in the last 10 years in New Jersey. It was fucking terrible.
I landed and it was completely fine. And as I'm driving to the show, it just starts pouring. And I was in the middle of nowhere, all the green fields with trees, and it looked very, it reminded me of living in the backwoods of Louisville almost. And I was was like, man, this is kind of nice. This isn't what I figured for Jersey. And then this just lightning and just thunder and just pouring followed.
Yeah, and it was like it was very so the heavens kind of got real dark and scary, I guess, upon your arrival. And God was not feeling wrestling that day. It was really kind of, and I'm concerned too, because I'm under it's slowly ruining my life, where you would think, if as a promoter, you know,
Who, me?
No, yeah, no, that too. Jesus, I log on Twitter. I'm like, okay, how many insults are coming my way right now? But with the show, I was really concerned because these events that I'm selling now, I'm getting a lot of pressure to deliver, and you know, it's some shows are hits and some are misses. I'm not saying this was a miss, but this is the first time we're running in this. It's Allentown, New Jersey. I've never ran there before. I never even heard of the city.
Yeah.
Very rural. And the people going to this festival are not used to buying wrestling tickets before. They're not. It's a new thing. So we had about 100 or something pre-sale, which isn't a bad sign. And knowing that this carnival is going to draw, like, I shouldn't say carnival, I should say fair. It's a huge event. They drew 3,000 people the first night. They were on par to draw 3 to 6 the second night and that weekend.
Yeah.
But it rained, which means the whole carnival shut down. The whole thing was underwater. And
There was not one person at that carnival. I had to go use the porta potty out there, in which I walked in the muddy, soft, swampy grass to get over there, and trying not to get my pants soaked. And I'm looking, I go, man, there's not one person. It was bad.
And it would have been great if it was like nice weather. We had Swoggle with us. I told him to hop in the fucking one of the freak shows. We could get more people in the building and
make a little extra money for him on the side, and
he was all for it. He's like, sign me up. But it just didn't work out. So now I'm panicking because I haven't been, you know, I've paid everybody, and this is on me. So if this festival goes, hey, look, buddy, you know,
I was curious about that. Yeah, how that works out from a promoter standpoint with talent like that. If that show did not go down, or how does that work usually?
Well, so,
like
I said, and let me clarify too for people listening. A sold event basically is I provide the show, I provide the talent for a set budget. But before any of this happens, I'm making sure when people walk in, they're paid for. I want it out of my way, and then I will settle up with them before the night's through. But it's looking really, the weather is bad. There's not a lot of people there. I think maybe 150 people showed up total, and they were there just for the wrestling.
Yeah.
They weren't there for the fair.
No.
It was, but I'm sitting there going, man, this might not work out. Granted, I have a contract, and I could always pursue legal options if it doesn't work out. But you don't ever want to go
the
down
immediate, you know, and for the right then and there. I mean, you're out of the money right then and there, essentially. Yeah.
But which I always prepare for anyway, and I bring it just in case. But it's just unsettling, and it's unsettling to like.
What about a gun? Are you a gun? One of those promoters that walk around with a gun just in case that guy went, you know, was played hardball towards the end?
I'm thinking about it in the future. Luckily, so far so good. If I run in a more urban area, I'll strongly consider. But there has been times where issues have been brought up on shows, and I've had to have, you know, Matthews and Dan Moff go, hey, we're going to go upstairs right now and, you know, shake these people up. But
you walk in, just kind of move the jacket to the side, show them what's up, and then give them a few minutes to think about it, then come in and have a nice conversation, right?
Yeah. So pretty much, yeah. But everything worked out, and they were like, look, we understand. It's the weather. We'll figure out a way around this. It was a fine show. We were wrestling on in a horse barn, a very nice horse barn, but it was a rodeo.
Yeah.
It was a dirt floor. And I didn't take into consideration, one, they didn't have any tables. So I was like, where the fuck do I get tables for the signing? That was a nightmare. And everybody was coming in the ring to meet you and Cody, and all the dirt from the rodeo floor was getting in the ring.
Yeah.
So before the show even started, the ring is just fucking covered with both wet and dry dirt. And mind you, I don't have a broom there. Something I need to get.
I was going to ask you that if you had a broom in your truck for that.
I never really needed one. Or most venues had one, and like maybe you have like a little bit of dirt and you clean it up, no big deal. Like this was, my canvas is ruined, so I got to buy a new one. But the whole show, I remember me and Cody when we wrestled versus the Heavenly Bodies, Like every time you took a deep breath, there'd be like dust particles and dirt going down your throat.
Yeah.
It was warm. It was dirty. It was a hell of a night, but everything worked out for the better.
It did. It turned out as good as it possibly could have turned out, I thought, for that. It was good to see Cody again and gave him some Feed Me More nutrition, which he liked. He loved the pre-workout, so that was good. Or he said he did. He could be completely lying. But you never know. He seemed very complimentary about it, and it was a good night. But what does a ring canvas cost, if you don't mind me asking? That's I'm sure our listeners would like to know.
Yeah, so there's only really one place to get ring canvases from. That's High Spots, and High Spots is the one that actually makes it for the WWE. Now, WWE wastes money, so they only use they go through what, like 20 canvases a night, maybe 15 or something.
I don't know. I don't know. I know they have. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 or 5 that they keep on the ring per show. But I think that's more. They don't change it unless they need to.
Got it.
Guys before were wearing certain things. I forget there was something that was coming off on the mats, and I think that was like banned for a while. But I think it's back allowed again. But it was. I don't. You never really see them go through. I don't think they go through quite that many, but there are nights they do go through them. They go through, I'm sure, much more than anybody else, just from how frequently they use them.
And I know like they were going through quite a bit more. I heard a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not, but you've watched when they turn the ring over to the Cruiserweight Classic with the purple ropes. Yeah. I've heard through the grapevine that costs $2,000 every time they do that. Because it's a special canvas and the rope things that every time they switch that out, it's $2,000.
The ropes, I would imagine, they have under the ring taped already.
No, they put like
the
tape. They basically like do like a long thing of tape and then another layer over super quickly. It's like something like that. And then when they go back to red, apparently they're allowed. It's you could rip it off almost. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they would have just switched out the ring ropes. Well, I didn't know though. They just get in there and tape it up really quick then.
Yeah, something like just like a pit crew. It's crazy.
That is coming up and through Tough Enough and everything. We had to do the ring crew are up there during the show. That was kind of like just so we learned how to do the ring, and obviously we did it in developmental too.
For WWE events, actually?
Yeah, for WWE events, yeah. We would actually help set up the rings and break it down. And that was it might have only been 2 or 3 weeks that we did that. Uh-huh. They just wanted us to see what everybody, like the workers, the referees, how early they got there and how late they had to stay. And we're only on the road for a day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we're not getting that true feel of being on the road 4 or 5 days a week. But it's just letting you know, like, this is a TV day for these guys. And at that time, you're not thinking, like, well, they're on the road 4 days a week before that or 3 days. And I mean, it's a lot. But they're part of the referee crew and the ring crew, and they get paid extra for that, I believe.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot. It's not like a developmental show, even though the rings are the same. But you got barricades and it just setting everything up, and it's long walks for everything between the backstage and the ring. And I mean, that's no easy task. But taping those ropes is, I mean, it takes a little bit of time if you just do it the old-fashioned way of going around like layer by layer. Mm-hmm. So that's they must have some sort of method that
there's a new quicker one that like goes in one. Apparently that stretches out and can wrap around easier than the way we were used to doing it, because I remember doing that in OVW, and that took forever. It
would take multiple people and took forever. That's why I was saying, like, to get that done in under 3 minutes or whatever it is. So that's cool. Yeah, that's cool to know. I didn't know that.
With the canvases, so basically like there's different layers, different colors, and there's cheap canvas and heavy duty canvas. The cheaper canvases that I've been buying, and the reason why I buy the cheap ones, they're actually old WWE ones. So when WWE's done using them, they actually will send them back to High Spots, who will resell them. Okay. And they're cheaper. And the reason why I don't buy the heavy duty ones is because I go through so many canvases between training and events that it's not even worth buying the more expensive heavy duty fabric, because they're going to rip.
You might not get your money's worth out of it. You're already you know what you're getting with that one that you buy already, right? So.
And one of the big differences is the color, or like these things get dirty, these things rip, and I think even High Spots was like, they didn't believe me one time because I said, like, look, the ropes that we use, which I know you're not a fan of, are the cable ropes, which are just basically hard cable, WCW style ropes, like literally the same stuff made out of airport hangers. That's steel.
Yep.
They're steel, the cable ropes with basically garden hose over it. And I was told by people that one of the guys that helped really make everything, he goes, nobody can break through this. And I'm like, well, I've had ropes break. And he said, no, like that doesn't happen. What happens is there's a mechanism where the cable is made of metal, and at some point they have to cross over and you lock them together. And he goes, well, what happens is the locks loosen up and the rope becomes undone, but it can never break. And I said, oh, no, that does happen. But I've been there in 2 different times where we've literally snapped the cable in half. And because we use them so much, we jump on them, we train every day. Yeah, like I think Tony Nese and Ricochet on a show was the final thing. It snapped. Moff has broken one, given someone a cannonball. But they're just, they're not meant to be, like, they're like, no way. They're like, that's impossible. They can't be broke. I'm like, nah, man, they've been, I think I beat the shit out of my rings, man. And I got to keep them updated, which is a process, but most of my rings are always in pretty pristine condition. So.
What's that chair made out of? Steel, sir.
Oh, but
even steel can break.
Canvas is about $200 used, and for like a heavy duty one, it's about $350. That's for a 16-foot ring. So if you go bigger than that, add $100, add $150.
Okay. Interesting. I did not know that. That's good to know. Wrestling rings are not cheap. That's for sure.
Sure.
It was a good weekend though. I did a couple other shows for Big Mike in Northeast Wrestling, and in Danbury we had a great turnout for that. That was Jack Swagger. It was good to see him again. He had a nice match with Donovan Dijak. Is it Dijak? Is it Dijak? Yeah. And
headed to WWE.
Oh, is he really?
And the rumors are out there. He's stopped taking indie bookings, and even for me, I was going to book him for the show that you're coming up on, which we'll plug in a minute.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I can't really get back to you just yet, but maybe. I'm like, look, man, I get what's going on. He's like, yeah, but he wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
But I think that's what the rumors out there today, so I'm not fucking leaking that. But I think
I did not know that.
He's a big dude. He's a good dude, and he works really hard. And
he's tall.
Yeah, he's like 6'7" or something like that, I think.
Yeah, no, he's a tall guy. But Cody and Ricochet were the main event of that, and we had a great turnout for that. It was great to meet everybody, and then the following night was in Troy, outside of Albany, and I went to this ABC Fitness in Albany, in Albany actually, and it was they're going to hopefully carry the Feed Me More Nutrition supplement line. I spoke with the head guy this week, and we're working on that, getting Feed Me More Nutrition in there. But it was a nice turnout at the baseball stadium that we went to that day. With Rey Mysterio there, Cody, Jack Swagger again, and I got to see my family for the first time. I was telling you that my uncle, my mom's brother, and his wife, whom I've seen a couple times the last few years. And I met his daughters for the first time, my cousins.
Okay.
All 3 young girls, and it was cool. We hung out for a few hours at Applebee's, which I ate at earlier that day, by the way. And the girl goes, "Oh, you're back." I go, "Yeah, I really love Applebee's.
I can't get enough of these.
I can't get enough. Yeah, these wings and your grilled chicken salads and salmon." But they. It was cool. It was a good time, and I was like glad to be able to get on the road and see some family I haven't seen, and they're actually trying to get me. I told you about it. I'm trying to get booked in Whitehall, New York now.
Yeah,
it's that's where my mom's family all lives and where they're all from, and I have not been back there since I was a kid.
Okay,
and I need to get back there and see them, and I didn't even realize when I went on this loop. I'm not even thinking Albany's like an hour and a half from where they're at, and it didn't even cross my mind. I'm not even, because I haven't been there in so long, and I feel bad. So we're gonna try to get booked up there or somewhere I can go up and see everybody. And my Nana's getting older now, and hopefully we can incorporate all the family into a match.
Yeah, well, we mentioned this because my Nana, will be 98 in January. She lives about an hour from Whitehall as well, so. you came up with the idea of just to entertain ourselves, to tell a story on the podcast, we can have them in the crowd, like Canadian Stampede style.
Yes, and where I initially thought if we were doing a program up there, to have the family, the nanas grab each other in the crowd, and they're just shaking each other because we don't want them to get too crazy. And then, like, all my mom's brothers, my uncles, and sister, they're all there, and it's chaos. And but I think it'd be better to have a tag match with a couple other heels out there, and where our nanas can unite. And,
the nanas are the visitors. They're in the crowd just cheering on their baby boys, and they're in leather jackets, and they're just happy to be there. And the heels get a little couple shoves to both of our nanas, and all hell breaks out.
Both our nanas wearing the first generation Mark T-shirt. Available on Amazon.
And none of the crowd understands what's going on, but we just do this just because.
I was laughing so hard walking through the Albany airport when we were talking about this whole scenario, just solely for us to entertain ourselves, and nobody understanding like why my little cousins are running around. These little girls are kicking these bad guys in the dick after the show in the heels, just selling everything from everybody. And yeah, our hands raised in victory. But it'll give me a reason to kind of hang out there. I could get a free trip up there and hang out with the family for a few days, and it will. Either way, I'm going up there one way or another, so cool. I need to. Yeah, but it was good to see all them. So great weekend on that note.
Should we circle back in, or should we get into let's talk about some stuff, or let's plug some up and coming things?
I'm cool though. Let's do a few plugs here. Do you? It's your turn for the song of the week, I believe.
It is. It's summertime. It's a little warm outside. So how about a little Holiday Road by Lindsey Buckingham, also famous for the Griswolds summer vacation, or family vacation, excuse me. So let's start that up.
I love all National Lampoons. All right, guys. For all fan mail for the big guy Ryback, please send to P.O. Box 752740, Las Vegas, Nevada 89136. I just got a bunch of it this week and got it back out to you guys. Actually, I think I got it sent out yesterday. So thank you guys very much. It means the world to me. It's cool to see people from all over the world sending stuff in to get stuff signed, and just saying hello, saying they miss me. I got a card saying "Get well soon." I thought was really cool this week. You guys mean the world to me. You guys are the good people out there, so thank you. Feed Me More Nutrition, available on feedmemore.com, on Amazon with free Amazon Prime shipping, in North Las Vegas at Spartan Nutrition. We got a crazy amount of specials going on feedmemore.com for Feed Me More Nutrition right now. Guys, so check that out. Wake Up, It's Feeding Time, the motivational book by the big guy Ryback, available on Amazon. Feed Me More merch on Amazon. The link is at feedmemore.com. In Fuel Meals, the personal meal prep service of myself, save 10% with discount code THEBIGGUY. Feeding Time 2.0, the official theme song of the big guy Ryback on the Independence, available on iTunes. And Holosync Meditation, available on feedmemore.com. Check out this podcast, Conversation with the Big Guy. Blah, blah, botch. Conversation with the Big Guy, available on iTunes. And please continue to share, review, guys. Let's keep this growing. We are going in a positive direction, and it's exciting moving forward. The official Facebook page for Feed Me More Nutrition is at Feed Me More Nutrition. And the Twitter for this podcast, Conversation with the Big Guy, at CWTBG. And I believe I got a couple shows coming up, Buck, in Australia, August 5th and August 6th, which we'll be talking about more next week, and as we get a little closer to that event. But that's going to be my first two matches back, I believe, right?
Coming up real soon.
So I've been training, getting ready for that, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. I will be wrestling for Impact on their first house show loop in a long time, August 4th and August 5th. That'll be Staten Island, New York, as well as St. James, New York. Tickets for that, I believe, ImpactWrestling.com. WrestlePro will be back with a fundraiser for the NYPD August 10th. You can get those tickets at WrestleProOnline.com. And also, a lot of people want to know, how do we see the matches from WrestlePro? Well, you can check out our friends at Title Match wrestlingnetwork.com. They have all the footage. They've got the biggest collection of wrestling footage anywhere, all of our events, shoot interviews, women's matches, death matches. Watch it for free for 2 weeks. They have all the WrestlePro stuff. Sign up at titlematchwrestlingnetwork.com. That's all I got.
Hey guys, Shining Wizards Eddie here. I hate to interrupt the flow of the podcast, but I'd like to share a story real quick. It's relevant. Whenever I hear this song, Holiday Road, it reminds me of tits. The first time I ever saw a pair of tits was when I was a kid watching European Vacation on HBO. So now whenever I hear this song, I think about tits. Alright, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. And how about with that, we'll go ahead and take our first break of the show, and we'll be right back after this. The following advertisement has been paid for by the big guy Ryback. Are you hungry? You know I'm so hungry, big guy. Hey, Mark, what brings you here? So I'm just here to hang out with my all-time favorite superstar of all time. What brings you here? Well, I'm doing a paid advertisement for Feed Me More Nutrition, available at feedmemore.com. Big guy, that is music to my ears. Did you tell the people about your Ice So Hungry grass-fed whey protein isolate, the best tasting protein on the market? Wake Up Unlimited Energy, the strongest pre-workout on the market, and the big guy, all-natural testosterone booster, my personal fave. Big guy, you're on to something with this Feed Me More Nutrition. It is some top quality stuff. Well, thank you, Mark. It is. Feed Me More Nutrition. Premium, quality, the highest quality supplements on the market today. Available now at feedmemore.com. But wait, there's more. Just for being a listener of Conversation with the Big Guy, you can now save 10%. That's right, save 10% at feedmemore.com on all Feed Me More merchandise and apparel and Feed Me More Nutrition with discount code PODCAST10. PODCAST10. Podcast 10. Thank you, guys. All right, we're back here. And, man, so it's been a pretty crazy day here. I have a new family member.
Oh.
In which I put it on my Snapchat and Instagram here. There's probably going to be 100 pics up by the time this podcast comes out on Monday. I now have a new little boy called the Little Guy.
Little Guy.
Little Guy. And a little male Boston Terrier, 2 months. They're very similar to Frenchies.
Yeah.
They're and they have like a good energy, and Sophie is very high energy. So she needs someone to play with all the time because Sonny's not going to be around here all the time. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be with his mom more than he's over here. So she gets beyond sad. So it's I was looking at, there's a Petland in Las Vegas, it's called Petland in Summerlin. And they occasionally will have a French Bulldog there, but they don't announce it because I've called and I've asked about it before. And so they said you just got to kind of check on the website every day and see what pops up and then call, and hopefully they can hold them when you get there. So I see this amazing Boston Terrier today on it, and it just looked like a little Frenchie. Celeste Bonin, Caitlin, has a cool Boston Terrier.
Yeah.
That's how I became familiar with that breed of dog, was through her, which I've probably seen him before in passing and whatnot, but her dog is really, really cute. And she's always putting MySpace videos of them up and stuff.
MySpace?
Sorry.
2004?
She's putting MySpace and tout videos up of her dog. And I'm the only other person seeing it, apparently.
You're like, man, there's no traffic here. This is great. Just me and her.
Yeah, this is great. Just do whatever you want. And nobody talks about it.
You're really big on you may be hated in other internet platforms, but MySpace, Ryback's real baby face.
Really over there, and that's why I like it. Holding on strong to that past.
That would be funny as fuck. Oh my god.
I really feel like going and creating them and just trying to Daniel Bryan would really appreciate the effort to try to get those two things cool again.
MySpace, just get MySpace back.
MySpace and tout. Is tout still going? I don't even know.
We need to look. It's probably for sale.
I should be doing more videos on there just to really. Ryback abandons all social media and opens a MySpace and tout account. It's just. No, but so I was torn because I told you the initial name, and I actually have this name on his tag that I had made there because I was so. I'm really big on on how I like the word like Sobe. It's just a cool name. I feel like. So when I saw him, I said Bobo to myself.
Okay.
I don't know why Bobo, but I was like, I like kind of naming my dog. I've kind of have a habit of naming my dogs after S's. The one letter that I had to go to speech therapy for as a kid. Because I talked silly Susie, tried to be sassy with and I had to go and learn how to be able to, pronounce my S's, which I've talked about. S's and R's, actually, which my dogs have been named S's and R's. Roxy also. I really like to play with myself on just not being able to pronounce my dog's names. So that will be edited out, by the way, coming up this week. I really like to play with myself.
No, that can stay in.
Yeah.
So what was the name that you picked? The first one?
I went with Lil Guy because it was between that and Sobo.
Okay.
I like, and because Sobo is essentially Boston Terrier. It's South Boston, the ghetto of like the Boston ghetto. And I don't know why. I just thought Sobo.
Saudi, I believe that's an area from what I gather.
Yeah. And so I was that was kind of, I don't know why. That was the first thing that popped in my head. But the girl, I was going between that and Little Guy. And the girl goes, she goes, "Come on, Little Guy." And I was like, fuck, that's his name. Mm-hmm. And he seems to respond better to that than Sobo. So I'm going with Little Guy.
Are you going to get him a little weight belts soon?
I should, get him his own custom collar and weight belt. And no, but Sophie loves him already. They've been playing in the backyard, and I got him in his cage. He's out cold right now. I just checked on him when we went to break, and he's been playing. They were playing for a good 45 minutes, and he's exhausted. So, but he has a lot of toys, and he was not cheap. I was $3,600 even after they came down a few hundred there, but then with taxes, and they threw in $100. They threw in a free bed and all these, like a dog food holder and a bunch of equipment and training stuff, pee pads, and I got him a dog bowl and treats and chew toys. All that was included. So I got the whole puppy starter kit.
Sure.
And but he's 2 months old, so I'm gonna have to now. Sophie's just so beyond sad when Sonny's not here. It's not. I can't I hate leaving her. It's hard and she's dogs she has such high energy. She needs somebody around to play with her constantly. And I'm doing my best when I'm here, but she likes having another dog around. And my dad, I told you, got a new puppy, but that Sophie's actually kind of scared of her. She's a pit bull, and she plays with her paws really hard. Sophie's a worker. She knows how to play fight. She won't try to hurt another dog like the puppy. She knows that he's smaller than her, and so she doesn't put her weight on him or anything like that. Yeah. She lets him get on. So she's a real worker, whereas my dad's dog's a little stiffer, playing and whatnot. So it's cool. I'm happy. I'm a good day. Got a nice new family member, and until I come home and then the couches are all chewed up and he's pissing all over everything. But that's what puppies do. So
very cool. Small price to pay for a new family member.
Absolutely.
What else is going on?
Well worth it. Back and shoulder, from the update on that. Shoulders feeling good. I had an ART.
Another stem cell treatment?
I had 3 more stem cell procedures done. No, I'm all done on that. This is the best my back has felt in probably 3 years.
Okay.
The tailbone has calmed down from the epidural injection, and because it kind of inflamed that whole tailbone area where they did the injection, and just that has finally calmed down. I wake up in the morning, I could sit up out of bed, whereas before I kind of had to roll out because my back would be stiff from sleeping on it. And I'm sure the epidural has played a huge part in helping with some of that, but the stem cells are just going to work their magic now on the disc and just regenerate them. And the disc were still fine. They weren't it's not like I didn't have disc or I didn't have herniated disc or anything like that, or bulging disc, but it was they were worn out. So it's just this was more of a precautionary move for the future, so that this stuff exists. And I told you the Ryback regeneration, this year, doing all this other stuff with the supplement line and doing the podcast and making appearances. Why not get my body 100% when I have the opportunity to, and I'm not missing out on anything. Essentially, as far as I've been out of the ring a few months, which I'm probably going to have to contact the FSW school here. I know a couple people there, and get in the ring just once or twice before I shoot over to Australia. Even though I didn't do that when I came back and wrestled. What did me and Moff do? Big Dan Moff, that me and you did a tag match the opening night. That was fine. Tag matches are easy, but
yeah.
Me and
You
Moff
guys were about 20, 25.
Yeah, and all total of everything out there. And he's a big 300-something pound guy, and I was totally fine that match. So as long as I told you, I just started doing my burpees again. I was able to do I knocked out 50 after my conditioning stuff the other day. Been doing jump rope almost every day, and Stairmaster and the box jumps. So just getting more, just moving around again now that I can. It's and I got my shoulder worked on yesterday by an ART massage therapist, and my shoulder, she's worked on it before when it was hurt, and it would get really inflamed the next day because it was all, I had the torn muscles and everything was all screwed up in it. I woke up today, my lat, she like undid my lat, was stuck underneath, and there was just some scar tissue from the procedures, and like I feel really good. I did overhead presses for the first time yesterday, so we're on track. We're on track for a good return, and I look forward to having some really competitive matchups and getting back in the ring. 3 months is long enough. I'm ready to get back in there and start mixing it up. So,
speaking of overhead presses, I was going to say,
wait, where are you going with this one, Buck?
There was a man that did a lot of overhead presses, but I think it's better to bring this up and get it out of the way, or at least talk about it. We had a lot of feedback from something that we just kind of, it started off as a question, part of our question segment every week. Someone asking about hearing the internet rumor, seeing it online, about the possibility of, WrestleMania, was it 30? Was that it?
Yeah, I believe so.
That they read online a rumor about you potentially working Warrior, to which you answered. And Dana Warrior, the wife of the deceased Warrior, commented, and not so nice.
No,
what you want to talk about here?
Yeah, that was actually, I believe, Saturday. I was in Danbury, and I was getting ready to go eat and go work out, and then and I was doing my buffer stuff for all my social media, for all the advertising for like Feed Me More Nutrition and everything, and I got a guy that does a lot of my graphic stuff that I talk to on Twitter, so I go on there and check that, and then I could see what's kind of going on for the day, and I see that I'm getting a lot of hate tweets again from people, and you're a fucking liar, you're this and that, and along with everything else under the book, which there'll be some of them will be read in our mean tweets tonight for our main event, so stay tuned for that, which Pat will read the mean tweets that came our way this week, mostly me, and in my rebuttal to some of them. But we were asked a question by a fan about if it was true, any truth to Ultimate Warrior Ryback at WrestleMania 30, in which I thought I answered very honestly, as I always have here, and shared a true story about Mark Carrano showing me a early preliminary sheet for WrestleMania, which it said Ryback versus Ultimate Warrior. I even mentioned that it could have been a big rib by WWE. It could have just been them fucking with me. But that I was shown that. And then me and you discussed that possible matchup had it happened.
Yeah, and it was all done in a very complimentary fashion, how it's like, hey, like, it would have been an honor. It would have been cool. I don't know how much thought was into this. I don't know if it even was a thing, but it was on a piece of paper. It could have been them just fucking with me. Yeah. Every avenue was addressed. But it just, gosh, I don't really know how to put it. By the time it got to the internet and kind of a game of telephone, it was made to seem as if this was, this was going to happen, and you were basically just making this up for some sort of relevance. Which
for what? Why would I make something up from several years ago that has nothing, that's not going to benefit me one bit, making anything up like that? So Dana had, whom I've met several times, and had very...
I meant to ask you that. Yeah. You've met Dana before?
And had always pleasant experiences with her and her two daughters. and in which one I will not share the encounter, my last meeting with her, which I told you about off this, in her very kind words towards me, towards her husband, which they don't need to be said here. It was that was my last meeting with her, and
people are going to wonder about that. I don't know, like that wasn't a compliment. Why would that
Yeah,
be bad?
I-
Because
I-
you don't want people to run. You don't want people to run rampant with what she said.
I just think it's not. That was a moment she shared with me and her daughters about her husband,
Okay.
and it doesn't need to be the exact specifics don't need to be said. It was very kind of her, and it just doesn't need to be said here. But she added other things into that. Nothing I said was a lie, and she made it a point to call me a liar and saying that I was trying to cash in, essentially, I guess, on somebody's grave.
It was that it's sad when someone has to stand on the grave or someone's grave to try to basically call attention to themselves. And I mean, that was a pretty vivid kind of
Uncalled for.
To tell untruths on a man's grave to promote their own lives. It's just like, oof, like that was kind of
And my whole
weird.
thing is so and I believe the manager chimed in on this. I have no reason to lie about anything. That when was Dana Warrior and the manager of Warrior hanging out backstage? When's the last time they were just hanging out backstage at a WWE event? When I'm there every week, I'm figured in. I'm in the mix. And how would they know that had I seen a sheet or not? And again, Vince McMahon, Vince could have an idea of maybe if this was something he was thinking about, of that he wanted to do this. And who knows where they were in these negotiations or whatnot. But he might not have said anything to them. It might have just been an idea that he was thinking about months ahead of time. And and Mark always had the sheets in there for the different shows and whatnot. And he just showed me that, whether he was screwing with me and it was made up, or it was just it was never said like this is going to happen. It was just shown to me that this is the idea going on right now, or possibly in Vince's head, etc. So how does that make? And then we discussed a possible matchup with the two of us and had it happen.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how that makes me a liar. That not true in this and that, because she very well didn't have to know about it. They might not have known anything about it. That doesn't stop me from knowing something if it was a possible idea. And so I just thought it was, which is why I didn't get angry or whatnot, and there's no reason to. But I gave her the exact time on the podcast where the question was asked so that she can actually go, because I believe she was responding to another clickbait headline that was not.
She didn't listen to it.
She didn't listen to it. And she then just took another shot at me saying, I'm living in a fantasy world. And I'm just thinking, where's this coming from? Because this lady has been nothing but kind to me. And especially with what I told you, what she told me, our last encounter, it doesn't make any sense why she would be this vicious on something that she doesn't have to know about for it to be true or not. Like, so it was, I found it all disturbing and whatnot. And I wish her the best, but it sucks because I was seeing people and people that I know, Ryback called out on it, or is caught in a lie. I wasn't caught in any lie. I've never lied one time on this podcast. But people don't want to. You give them the truth on stuff, and they just think there's no way. They want to hate you so bad, but these people can create whatever headlines they want for the clickbait, but people. That's the simplicity of a certain percentage of human beings out there, is they get their news from that stuff and believe it.
Well, not only that, with the fact that the one thing I found kind of ignorant was the fact that she both kind of, she said her 2 tweets and that was it.
Yeah.
The manager who I've dealt with on one occasion, which is kind of hilarious and both ridiculous, and I'll say that, we're both like, and he was putting out there, this was never once brought up. I negotiated the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I go, all right, let's break this down. Warrior was a guy that was very stern with his beliefs.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Okay.
And this time period that came up, it was more so that WWE wanted Warrior for this thing than Warrior wanted WWE. That's what I believe. So by the time the talks even began, I would assume that the first person saying what they want and what exactly they're going to do would be from his side.
Yeah.
So if they had any inkling of him wrestling in any sort of match or had any sort of idea, once they heard the first talk from his agent, which is a guy named Steve, they would go, okay, well, he's 100% not going to do this. They wouldn't even bring it up. Like you said, it probably wasn't even brought up. Who knows how much, but that could have been a possibility. And the fact that they came, or at least the managers, I saw what he wrote, like this, totally made up, but there was an internet thing out there. Like that's what caused the question to be asked on this podcast was somebody read it online and went, oh, let me ask this show to find out the answer.
Which, by the way, WWE leaks out the majority of these things for things like that. That's something they would leak out, that, Warrior Ryback matchup, to see if there's any buzz there, to see if there's any interest. They do this all the time with things. They have direct access to a lot of these guys and different things. And there were multiple articles coming out during that period on that. And it's not, all we did was discuss the possibility of it. And I shared a truth of a sheet that I was shown months ahead of time. And that doesn't make me seeing that sheet untrue. I never said it was supposed to be, but all these headlines made it. Ryback was supposed to face Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania and blah, blah, blah. Like, I never said that directly. I said I saw a sheet that from a preliminary WrestleMania sheet. It could have been all a big lie. It could have been whatnot, but that was just an idea. And then we talked about the possibility of that matchup. So I don't think that stuff was well thought through on her end as far as coming at me like that. But it's
if I can be an asshole for a minute and breaking this down, let's look at the ludicrous logic behind this whole scenario, fans included. What we do is fucking fake fight in our underwear.
Yeah.
And let's not pretend like at this point in time, I mean, he would have been so far away from the ring and stuff. That match literally would have been 2 clotheslines, tackle, splash. That's exactly. Like,
it would have been his farewell match. It would have been a feel good moment if that were to have happened. But he wasn't in good health during that period, and they found that out and whatnot. That doesn't mean that there wasn't an idea possibly in Vince, even in Vince's mind. If he even knows he's hurt, he might think, well, he can do 2 clotheslines and you know what I mean? Exactly. And that doesn't mean that that it's all one big made up lie that I'm telling. And again, the thing that really upset me with that is trying to and talking about the gravesite and promote yourself through. I'm not taking Ultimate Warrior, and it's not making me any money talking about that. Like, it's not. I'm not using his image and likeness on my supplements to make myself money. You know what I mean? So I kind of don't understand where she's coming from on that and attacking me. It just seems very odd to me that she took that route to attack me that way, and I don't, because she was always so kind to me before.
Do you think this has to do
or
with the
again,
fact
why
that
wouldn't
she's
you
a
send?
WWE
Why wouldn't you send a private message to like there's so many different ways to handle that rather than publicly going that route. I'm like, why would she publicly because if you just think about it, I'm not lying. So, but I don't know. It just seemed very.
She's also an employee for the company.
Yeah.
I mean,
so, and again,
that's kind of
and I'm not. Who knows? I don't. I mean, I'm truly baffled by that, and it just sucks that people run with this. And and we're not even going to mention him by name. But I had to block a certain so-called fake fighting news reporter. Who couldn't understand why I blocked him. Who you actually showed me the thing that he had posted sharing the Ryback caught in a lie or whatever. Something just not promoted. You didn't do any homework on the situation. And if you listen, you would think, well, how does that make him lying about seeing a sheet? How would she have seen it? How would the manager have seen it? They're not hanging out backstage every week. It's not. Yeah. It's just unfortunate. So.
And also words. Even if you take this podcast verbatim, word for word, or anything, the tone and the context sometimes are taken out of things, which is what we'll move on to eventually with the other issue. Yeah. But it's just everybody. At the end of the day, maybe this is, and I've said this before. I think you're the most talked about dude in terms of, on one spectrum we got the 2 sweeters with these Bullet Club baby faces, and on the other side is you. So that there's something there, and it all this is kind of feeding into each other naturally. It's not forced. It's unfortunate this happened. You would think she would be like, hey, cool, that would have been a great moment or something.
Yeah.
Thanks for. Instead, it's like, no, how dare you mention the. And this is on me. You're not saying this. I'm saying, how dare you mention the the god of wrestling that we hold so dearly that, you know, how dare ye? Like, let's fucking calm down. If you were to say something that, like, you know, there was a sheet and I saw something with, you know, granted it's different time periods where, like, hey, it was rumored I could have had a match with Eddie Guerrero. Do you think Vicky Guerrero is going to, like, do stuff like that? Like, it's just, to me, it's so, it's just like, it's weird how there's so many detractors that hate professional wrestling, and all the people involved, the fans, the families, the workers, everyone's just so encapsulated in this drama where, like, we're ripping each other apart when everyone should just be fucking cool with each other. It's mind-blowing.
That's what this whole thing, and I saw a quote actually by somebody, Matt Roby, who used to live with me in Florida, on his one of his social media pages. It said, "Nobody hates wrestling as much as wrestling fans." And
It's so true.
It's the truest thing ever. Wrestling fans are the most miserable. They just think wrestling, like, and it's a percentage of them, not all of them, obviously. But it's hilarious. If you didn't know, like, they complain and just, it is what it is. But it was unfortunate. And I just don't I don't see how that makes me a liar. And I saw there was someone too that put out a list of things I've said during this show of things on, like, why I'm so full of shit. Because God forbid, like, one of the things on there I just laughed at was Ryback claims he came up with the triple power bomb for the Shield. And I'm just like, I was like, I didn't invent the triple power bomb. We were sitting by the announce desk thinking of a way. I'm the one taking the move. Do you think I'm probably going to have a little bit of say maybe on the move I want to take? And
Sure.
and trying to incorporate three guys, I was power bombing guys left and right. And I suggested doing the triple power bomb. I didn't invent it. I didn't do anything like that. But that was the move they did. It worked really well, and they kept it for a finisher. But, like, just like God, no, these are the Shield. These guys, there's no way Ryback had any, like, they just don't, they want to hate me so bad or hate the idea of me so bad. And it's just like, that's why you listen to the show, hang around for a bit, you'll come around eventually.
Because I really think at the end of the day, it's not like that, you know, you're not holding on to, man, I better get credit for inventing that move.
Yeah.
Everyone should know I invented it. That's like saying, like, fuck, I came up with the name of your finisher. It's not like I need everyone to know I fucking named that. It's just so stupid.
They don't understand that this is a show. This is an outlet for me and you to hang out every week, promote some stuff, have fun, and it's just one big giant conversation. And it's my favorite part of the week. And now it's unfortunate we have people that want to try to take that and put it into a negative light. And it's just a lesson for everybody out there. You can live through me watching this, and it's just, you never let these people get you down. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I will always be happy. And it's just, they get blocked, and they'll get blocked one by one, and it does not. They'll be forever out of my life, and they'll go on to the next person who they'll try to drag down. But that's what this world is. People just trying to drag you down, and the more successful you are, the happier you are. People aren't happy. There's a select portion of people out there that are so upset that I walked away from WWE with the upper hand. Even though that's well known that I got up and I walked out, I turned down the contract, I walked away. There's still people out there trying to claim I was fired or released and this and that, and like I wasn't good enough. And I 100% succeeded in my role at WWE, whether it was that up-and-coming main eventer I made you believe, or whether it was the big bad bully Ryback, I played my role perfectly, whether it was that good guy coming back from injury, working his way up the card again, or that big bad Ryback once again, putting over the guy half his size, but making it believable that when that little guy beat him, the entire crowd stood up and popped both times. So it's like, whatever my role was, I succeeded. But people want to call that a failure and hate the idea of Ryback because they don't understand it. They don't understand me, and they never will, and I don't need you.
Jesus, trying to get a fucking word in. Oh, my God.
When I start going, Pat, you see, obviously it's kind of a continuation of my rap game. When I start flowing, I start flowing.
Fucking Bob Backlund giving a speech right there.
I never have ever eaten marijuana.
I had a funny segue off of, I actually dealt with Warriors manager once. I don't know if I ever told you this.
You were just talking about it on here. You just mentioned it like 10 minutes ago.
Did I mention like how I got a cease and desist letter from them?
No.
Okay, so when I first started promoting back with the other company, We used, this is not on me. This was on the person I was working with at the time.
Was this guy a black guy, by the way?
No.
Okay,
No.
I got to share a story about a black guy that came up at the event in Troy this week, who said he was used to be your partner for the Pro Wrestling Syndicate, and he had his family there, and I took pictures with him, but he acted like he was supposed to, like I was going to like hit him or something, and so I thought he was your partner, and I just go, look, I don't know what's going on with all that, buddy. Like, you have your kids here. Yeah. Like, it was really weird. It was really weird, and then I took photos with him. So
I wonder if that was. But back in those days, when I was running my first show, I didn't know how many tickets were going to sell, and I kept hearing about this guy called One Warrior Nation. I don't know if you ever heard about this guy.
No.
So he's an independent guy in the Northeast. If you YouTube him, you will find you'll have a great time. Picture Paul Lee, but as Ultimate Warrior.
Wait, I have heard of this guy then. Okay, I remember hearing something about this guy now that you bring that up.
So apparently he works at a correctional facility in my town of Rahway, or where I lived at the time. It's where I do most of my business. And he has a warrior-style haircut. He actually has a warrior tattoo on his arm, legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, giant Ultimate Warrior tattoo, like a fucking full cartoon of him. And he calls himself One Warrior Nation. Now, mind you, he's probably about 5'6", 5'7".
Not quite up to Warriors Billings physically.
Yeah, I think Warriors in that 6'3", 6'4" realm or something like that. And his physique is not on par with Warriors, but if you see him on YouTube,
his beliefs are, though.
Squint, exactly. If you squint and you take a couple shots, you might go, "Oh, okay, I can see it." And but this guy would bring his family and bring like 30 to 40 people.
Whoa!
So when I first started doing this, I'm like, but this guy is really fucking terrible. Like, this guy, like, he literally comes out to Warriors music.
Yeah.
And he would run around the ring, and he's terrible, dude. He's not a good wrestler whatsoever.
Okay.
And fans when he would come, I remember the first show he wrestled Bull James, actually. And Bull's like, what the fuck? I got to wrestle this guy? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Look, like, he's friends with my partner, and he brought a lot of people. Do you mind? He's like, whatever. And he comes out with he's pumping up in the back, and he's painted, and he just looks like a really shorter, shittier warrior. And he's a dick. He's not a nice guy. He's not cool. And fans go up to him, and he's selling the comic book.
Yeah.
And he'll go up to him and go like, hey, are you really him? And he goes, I'm One Warrior Nation. They're like, wait, but are you the real, like, warrior? And he goes, he'll just, like, kind of shake his head and go, One Warrior Nation, brother, One Warrior Nation. He won't deny it.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't say, and, like, I'm like, fuck,
He
man.
leaves them wondering.
Yeah, it leaves them, like, and a lot of people, they didn't really know. This is in 2012. So when he would come through, he comes out to Warriors music,
yep,
mind you, and people look around going like, wait, is this true? Because my first show still had, like, we had Hardy on it. We were supposed to have Sid.
Yeah.
We had a lot of big names.
And he's running around like a madman, so you can't really focus on him right away.
So a lot of people looking around going, what the fuck happened to Warrior? Is that real? And a couple of my friends came, and they're like, is that really him? Like, no. And they're like, no, it's some fucking guy that just, like, imitates him. And that's his whole thing, is that he, like Paul Lee does, this guy does this warrior persona, and
I'm going to look him up after this.
Oh, you'll have a fun time. You'll get massive. He gets massive amounts of heat, but he still doesn't play into it. He just plays that warrior persona. And the funny thing is, he's wrestling Bull James, and he came out with his own title belts for no reason.
Okay.
Fucking WCW gold belts, which doesn't make any sense because I don't think that was one of the ones Warrior ever had. And the guy comes running out full steam, and the fucking title belt, the plate of it just falls off as he's running to the ring. And so while he's doing his laps, Bull James just rolls out of the ring and grabs the title belt and just, like, holds up the plate that fell off. And he's like, and dude, this guy. So anyway, like, but this guy's one thing is he needs to be on one of the posters so he could put it in his, I don't know if it's prison or his correctional facility. So we doctor up.
Is that where he works?
Yeah, he was like a prison guard.
Wow.
Yeah, he still looked like a pretty tough guy and like a little scary, but like you couldn't get through to him. Like, look, man, what you're doing is really bad and shitty. And I felt I'll openly admit I'm a piece of shit for having this guy on the show.
Do you think the inmates were intimidated by his photos? It was that was a way for him to have status inside that prison, have a little bit of cred. Do you think because a lot of prisoners are wrestling fans?
I think there was probably multiple stories. I've seen some shit, dude. I know of people up here in the Northeast region that will go. They will book themselves at. Ironically, it was supposed to be next to your table at the New York Comic Con. That pretend that they're other wrestlers from 1980s with masks on, and like will literally go through this whole existence of pretending to be a former WCW personality or someone obscure in wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's their lives. That's a thing. I really would love to do a documentary on that fucking craziness, like, because it's mind blowing. But after that, we made a poster for him to put up, and somehow it's on Facebook, and it was on our website, and we got contacted by Warrior's manager saying, we own the name One Warrior Nation, and you better change this or don't. This guy's an embarrassment. You better take this down, or we're going to sue you. You know, and we did. We took it down, and I really felt terrible because I'm like, yeah, I'm part of this thing. And then he was around like in one more show, and we never used him again. But that was my experience dealing with but a legit cease and desist from Warrior Creations, which I wish I still had in my mailbox. I do in one of them. I just can't remember which one it is.
I was going to tell you when I said prisoners love wrestling. Before somebody says, well, what are you talking about? How would you know prisoners love wrestling? I'm going off of an officer here in town came up to me, and I've had a couple throughout traveling that have come up to me in gyms and whatnot and talk about how they work at a different facility and the inmates watch when they love wrestling. But one in particular told me that if you remember that Bully Ryback shower scene where that all the guys really popped and loved that Bully Ryback scene of in the showers, and I think it's fucking hilarious. So, because there were some strong undertones on that one of pick it up,
Pick it up. Turn on the water.
This is all I have.
and then just really
Put it down.
Yeah, pick it up.
I tell you, one of my dreams, though, not dream. I just want to do. I don't want to say it's a
getting bullied by me in the shower. Jesus, Pat.
Fuck, I really set myself up for that one. I've always loved the idea of, I'm a big Johnny Cash fan and how he would do concerts in prisons. I want to do a wrestling show as an entertainment night for a prison. I really do. I think it would be.
Is that possible? Is this?
I think so, because I know that I've heard that. I think Cabana told me that he knew that Matt Cross might have done one somewhere where they had an entertainment thing for, men that have either, that are doing their time or whether they're rightfully or wrongfully convicted. But I just think that would be such a thing to just.
Would you be able to do this where we could go pay-per-view with this, and for my main event matchup, it's me coming out of a cell, the music hitting, and it's just me. The fucking cell opens, and then I come. You just film the entrance from a cell. I don't know why.
We need the right opponent. And are you wearing the
nails?
The old nails thing.
Yeah, nails.
Sure.
Just a quick 1 minute match. That's it.
I was listening to some show. God, I forget. I think I was on a Sirius, this comedy show called Bonfire, and they were saying how Nails had all that time in the world to escape prison, but he just wouldn't change the jumpsuit. You would think that he would have got rid of the orange jumpsuit.
Well, he went right into Shawshank Redemption, so it fit right in there.
Oh man. So yeah, let's we'll put a little bow on that. We had some other stuff, some other feedback from the show.
Yeah, what else is going on? Talk to me here.
Well, I mean, they brought up the thing on they've misconstrued. I think this is worse than the situation we just talked about, but the whole comments towards when we were talking about Glow, and you had your opinions on maybe if women, I don't understand to differentiate from the men. Can't women be more feminine, more sexy? Because that's going to be an advantage that us as guys don't have, to which has been complete. I don't know if your Snapchat helped much, but
that's something that was somebody, I believe it was a little girl, made a video to start all this, that Ryback is a fucking idiot was the headline. And I think the first thing, just to help people understand, is it doesn't matter who makes these clickbait things, or essentially they put a title on there that they want, and what that does is create an emotion in people before they even listen or read anything, is whatever that headline is that they're trying to get across. That's the message they're trying to get across. And then this girl took a clip of us we were talking about the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, I believe, and it transitioned because there was a spot in the movie in that show on Netflix where the female wrestler body slammed the babyface and then got on the second rope and acted like a heel by shaking her ass. And then I just went on to say that's what's missing from today's wrestling in the women today. And is that saying every woman? No. But then we got into a discussion about all of that, in which the majority of people that responded to that, they listened to a short clip where it said essentially women need to shake their ass more. And we talked about men wearing underwear. There was much more into all that, including me talking about how the women wrestlers of today, whether it was WWE, are all beautiful, and I enjoy their matches, and they're amazing athletes and that. But nobody heard any of that. They just heard the shake your asses part. And I think the easiest thing for them, you're a sexist. You are a sexist. Ryback is as big of a sexist that exists on this planet. So that started in whatever night that it was. I saw, I go, this is going to be a thing now. That's the next thing that they're gonna try to latch on to. So I happened to have SmackDown on. I just got back in walking with the dogs, and I saw the females match was on. And I just go, perfect timing. And Charlotte happened to be going to the corner, so I hurried and got the Snapchat on. And then sarcastically, because since I'm such a sexist now, sarcastically, don't you dare go up on that turnbuckle and do an athletic move. Shake that ass. Shake that. Don't you dare do a fucking athletic move, in which they bundled that together with the podcast to create this story that I'm this big sexist, rather than completely missing the whole sarcastic tone of that, and that was not a serious thing. But these are not listeners of the podcast, and I think, and I was telling you, an important thing the whole point that they missed is not to do it just because I just want to see women shaking their asses, is that it's fucking fake. It's sports entertainment. This is not real fighting. So there's these people out there that they want wrestling to be this real athletic competition. That's how they want it, and there's different promotions that highlight that and whatnot. You're only a certain percentage of the audience. There's many more audiences out there. There's people out there that like the theatrics, that like the storytelling, that like the mannerisms. That's why we do the mannerisms and do different things to try to get over in the ring, to distinguish ourselves, because it's fucking fake. So that was just another example and an advantage that the women have over men, that they could really play up to more than men. And I talked about that, and they just latched onto that and thought it was he's just a goddamn sexist. And we're going to have a lot of mean tweets to read tonight about a lot of that. But there's the people that hear this podcast and listen to this regularly go, what are you guys talking about? And they bundled in the whole, where I even said I was joking, that from the whole Money in the Bank stuff we talked about, where we were joking about Vince having Ellsworth climb the ladder, and it was all a rib on all of that, which I was jokingly, and I'd said I was joking about, women can't climb ladders. What are you talking about? And it's all a fucking joke. It's not, but there's these little kids, uneducated, and Warrens out there essentially, who don't listen to the podcast, who will just listen to a little quick clip, not even listen to the whole clip, and then feel the need that they can go ahead and judge somebody and then insult them and say whatever they feel like saying. And so we did a little bit of blocking this past week. Over all that, but
there's a lot more than that, though. There's a lot I saw a lot of people looking for a rally cry. There's a lot of white knights out there who are basically guys that will just find any angle to be fake offended, to talk to girls a little bit more, to just pretend to play their card. And I saw arguments too where I'm like, this is wild. For example, someone used something that was pinned against what I said. I mentioned how Trish Stratus is an amazing wrestler and was known more for her in-ring skill than her sex appeal, even though her sex appeal was what got her to the dance. I say they actually go equal. Her performance in the ring compared to how she was, her character, her looks.
Early on was more sex appeal. As she advanced in her career, it was more in ring, I feel.
It was more in ring.
Yeah.
But no matter what match she was in, I used the reference of how she would kind of bend over, and she knew what camera shot she was giving, and it showed her cleavage.
Yeah.
And people go, how dare I say that women's wrestling has come so far, and they're trying to get away from that. And I'm like, that's not, none of that's true. What you said before, that they want it to be real fighting. If it's going to be real fighting, explain to me why do the women wear a lot of makeup?
Why aren't they wrestling in long pants and covering their entire bodies? Why do they dress the way? People are on. The problem is people are uncomfortable with sexuality, and they don't understand, and so they get angry, and they feel like it's something they have to hold in. Wrestling is as sexual as it comes. It is men fighting in their underwear and women fighting in very little clothing and whatnot. And it's not to say it's for the men. You go out there, and we talked, and they didn't include all that where we talked about guys wrestling in underwear or singlets or trunks and things, that it's just, that's what it is and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But it's still, the guys, you still go out there and treat it as a competitive matchup. That's just, there's an audience out there that watch it for that, though. And they're neglecting all of that.
The girls coming out, like, they're acting like this doesn't exist anymore. And I'm going, of course it exists. Like, for example, I'm a huge fan of Charlotte.
Yeah.
I actually think I think she's the best as far as right now, like skill-wise, presentation-wise.
Okay.
Hell of an athlete. And people like, but she also does a lot of what she wears is very, you see a lot.
Yeah.
And her outfits are over the top. Every time she comes into the ring, she does a split. She winks. She rolls backwards.
Yep.
That's part of all these girls know this. So let's stop fucking pretending that this is, Ronda Rousey coming to the ring to just throw some punches with a mean mug and her hair back and no makeup.
It's sports entertainment. And that is what the whole they are just neglecting that entire fact, like that we are belittling this real sport. It is not like you could still, and I mentioned in there, and you even talked about it. Maybe not all the girls have to do it, and I go, I don't even, even subtly, in which we talked about, like they subtly do things, but they still have serious matchups, and but it was more of it's just us discussing, having a conversation, going back and forth, presenting ideas, giving opinions on things, and whether you like it or not, you have to appreciate that there are other audiences out there. That's like me going back. Fans don't respect all the different styles of wrestling. These people that only like they want it to just be real wrestling, they disrespect everything else. Whereas I feel like you got to remember there's casual viewers out there. People that know that when they turn on wrestling, it is as fake can get. And I've watched it with, I can't tell you how many where they go, Jesus Christ. But if something comes up and there's a good promo or there's a good story or there's somebody that does something that's funny during a match, that's what gets their attention. That's what, that was kind of cool. And it kind of gets them to forget they're watching fake fighting. And that's always gone hand in hand. So it's just like, blows me away that it's unfortunate that people have to do that. And again, that stuff even goes out there and whatnot. But again, everyone that listens to the podcast knows. So it's just like, keep doing your thing. I'm never going to change. And I don't take anything back that I said because I didn't say anything inappropriate. And if I did, I would apologize. But it's people, if you listen to the podcast, you get it. If you don't, get lost.
And it just kind of got back to me personally, too, which kind of get my, again, we are, I'll say it, we're complaining about a lot of stuff because, people complain about this all week.
We're responding. And again, no, not complaining. We're simply responding to things going on. Because I think it's important to sometimes, it's people, you can't let people kick you too many times. You always got to respond back at times with the truth and let them know because it's out of hand. And these people, again, you take one look at their pictures. And you can just see what they're going through and whatnot. And it's never anybody in a good place.
But this week, I'm complaining now. I'm complaining because...
You want to complain. All right, I get it. Go ahead, complain.
I'm complaining because things get, you say your point, I say my point, and, my day-to-day thing or something I'm kind of protective about is, like, I really care being a trainer.
Yeah.
And I have... and I've had an issue over the last couple of years where there's still not I've trained many females, or a lot of females have, signed up and quit. Same thing with guys.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, for the most part, like for every 20 guys that signs up, maybe I'll get one girl.
Okay.
And out of those 20 guys, maybe 15 of them legitimately quit. Yeah. 5 of them may stay around. People are always in and out. And, 5 years for me full-time as a trainer, and I still don't really have one girl I can put a stamp of approval on. And the longest someone's been training for me, is one girl, actually, Vanity, who's 2 years in, but she's still trying to figure out the process, and she's still, incredibly green.
Takes 2 years is very early on in this.
And the other girls that have a lot of promise, there's 3 other ones, and they're a year or less. But I see tweets out here like, and this guy runs a school. He doesn't have none of his students do anything. All of his girls are bad. So I'm like, let me get this straight. You're gonna paint up that we're some fucking I'm a sexist person. You're a sexist, and I happen to train people for their careers in wrestling, and that it's but. Who cares about them being female because they're not very good, and they're not very good because of this, and it's just fucking comments after comment. I'm like, holy fuck, man. And
you just got to block them. You just block them, and then you forget about it, and that's the easiest thing that you could do. And they eventually it goes away because they find something else to focus on, to try to leech onto, to try to suck the energy out of, and you can't let them. You just block them, and then you might have to put a little effort in to get them blocked, but it's well worth it. Because you forever eliminate them from your lives and from your life, and it's everyone goes through it at different levels, and it's just this podcast. The more successful we get, and the more listens we get, the more of this stuff that keeps coming out, and people can take any little thing and create whatever story they want to create. But I told you, people would rather be offended than finding out the truth, and it's like, well, I don't want to listen to that. That's Ryback's podcast. I'm not listening to that, and you know what I mean. And it's unfortunate. I even saw things saying I said that the women were ugly. I never once. This is just all. It's just people just create more light. Well, we can just how it goes from one person to another. Then they just the story slowly changes and whatnot. So
I caught flack from someone saying, "Oh, this is the same guy that started Bombshells Ladies of Wrestling, Blow," and I'm like, really? There's been plenty of fucking girls that have worked for TNA in the last 15 years. I'm like, where are they throwing up the fucking crosses for that? Like, my God, I need a drink and I need a fucking break.
That's, we'll go ahead. We'll take another break here and we'll be right back after these messages. If you're anything like us, you like to enjoy a nice cold soda every now and then, but you hate the empty calories and the artificial sweeteners that come with it. With Zevia, you don't have to pick your poison. You won't feel awful worrying about the potentially harmful side effects, because with Zevia, there are none. Zevia uses the all-natural sweetener stevia and doesn't have any caramel coloring either. The result is a delicious and safer soda with none of the nasty stuff. Zevia has 14 different flavors of soda, 4 flavors of sparkling water, and 4 flavors of awesome energy drinks. This is the naturally sweetened pop you and your family will crave. And Zevia is giving you the opportunity to try their products for yourself for free. That's right, for free. If you live in the U.S. or Canada, just go to Zevia.com/podcast and sign up. And they'll mail you a coupon for a free 6-pack. What are you waiting for? Head to Zevia.com/podcast and get your hands on some ASAP. Okay, we're back. And a lot going on this week. I mentioned to you, I told you, I actually sent you a Vox earlier this week that marijuana is now legal in Nevada for recreational use. Mm-hmm. And we talked about before the gummy bears that we both tried when you were here that wrecked you, that I didn't know wrecked you. Uh-huh. But I really, those gummy bears are amazing. Just from I wouldn't classify myself as a pothead. I actually don't like it. I hate the smoke and just the whole, but there's something about a little gummy bear that's just so friendly and easy. But I found that because I never really got the whole smoking thing and whatnot, and a lot of people do it and whatnot. But for whatever reason, like the little gummy bear, if I just take a little piece of it or have one, it doesn't mess me up like smoking would. Where I get that paranoia, it kind of creates a smooth, calm, nice feeling And so I figured, fuck, there's 2 dispensaries within 10 minutes of my house, 2 different ones. And why not? I'll go buy some gummy bears and just to experience this whole thing.
Sure.
And I went 2 different times to this place. And the first time I walked in, it was like there was a shortage of marijuana in Nevada, actually, because so many people. This place was packed, Pat. I walk in, I'm debating, like, man, I don't really want to, like, I can't go wait around. I'll see how long the wait is. You go in, and there's like a window with 3 different people at this one dispensary where, like, you got to show them your ID, but it like looks like a bulletproof window, whether it is or isn't. It just has that vibe, and then like you could see through into the waiting room before they let you into the room to look at in the display cases to see all the different marijuanas and all the different edibles and everything they have. It just seems I'm so taken back. Something feels so wrong about this to me still. Like I pull up in my truck, I'm like looking over my shoulder and like trying. You know what? I feel like I go, fuck, someone's gonna recognize me here. This is bad. You know, like I get out of my truck and I walk in and then I go, how long's the wait? And the girl goes, 45 minutes to an hour. And she goes, I need to see your ID. And I like look in the waiting room. I could see through the glass. And like everybody's just staring through at me. And I was like, oh man, I go, no, thank you. And I turn around and leave. And I was like, fuck it. I don't care that much about it. And so yeah, I'll give it a shot the next day or a couple days later, whatever it was. And I go back to that same place and there was no wait. And I get back there, but then they have no edibles. They're all sold out. No gummy bears. So I go to this other one that I found out was right down the road, 3 minutes from this other one, and I pull in, and this one is really, really busy this particular day, but like, and it's really shady. There's like people smoking in their cars out there, and like it's with people you would imagine going there, essentially, if that makes sense, and I feel very uncomfortable. I'm just sitting there in my truck, and I'm like, God damn it, I just want some fucking gummy bears. And I don't know, like, so anyway, I end up leaving. It was so many people coming in and out. And it just seemed like people around me smoking in the parking lot. I'm like, fuck, this is so odd to me. It's just strange. And so finally the other day, I go back, and I get in. There's nobody in there. And I get up to the window, and then the lady had to change out the cash box at the window. And I could have went to the back, but I chose to go to one of the quick express windows at this other one. And then, which people start coming in and filing in. So there's a whole line behind me now. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm really like, oh, man. And I just came from the gym, and I had a Feed Me More Nutrition shirt on. So it doesn't help. And the girl then goes, oh, we're all out of edibles. And she's like, you can look at the menu. We have drinks. And I'm like, I don't know shit about this stuff. And
neither do I, yeah.
And I'm like, drinks? Like, what kind of drinks? And she goes, they're on the menu, sir. And like, so now I'm just like, Jesus. And I'm like looking, and I'm like, I don't know, there's like a ton of drinks. And I go, all these are just for, whatever. Mm-hmm. She goes, right there. And I go, well, what one do you suggest? She goes, cherry limeade. And I go, okay, I'll take 2 cherry limeades. And they're just 2, like, just little drinks. They're like
soda cans or like Snapples?
No, like plastic bottles. More like almost like a Perrier bottle, but a little different, but similar size to that.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking you just drink the whole thing. Luckily, when I got home, I read the directions first, and you're only supposed to do a half a cap is a serving of that. And otherwise, I would not be here right now. I would still be somewhere else. That was the other day, though, for that I got that. But just to experience it, and I'm not a big fan of it. It's just a little bit, maybe occasionally you could sleep with it. Like it helps you like late at night, and you get a good night's rest, but not a frequent thing. But it's just weird. It's such an odd thing to me that it's legal here now. That I had to encounter that though. Like, and it was an experience. I'll tell you that much.
I wish it was legal in New York. I think we're far from that, or it would just be too crazy up here. But
these places, I'm telling you, they are. It is nonstop. Like I can't. The amount of money that the state is making on all this, it is. And and people have their medical reasons for it and whatnot. And I'm a little turned off by. I don't like seeing people smoking in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty, and especially right in front of a thing, that's a little like, Jesus Christ, man, what are you doing? Because that's not cool. So, but hopefully that passes once it's maybe sets in. I don't know.
All right. Gummy bears. But let's talk about some wrestling now. That's a hell of a segue. Or the news this week. The first thing that came out, old Shane O'Mac had to land a helicopter. Emergency landing. I think people saw that. Off
in the Atlantic Ocean, right?
It was right off the coast of Long Island. I don't know if it was the Atlantic or not, or I don't know if it was a sound between Long Island and Connecticut, but
he's
okay.
All right?
Yeah, he's fine.
Classic Shane, no selling a helicopter crash.
You really wanted to get that in. No wonder this
That's all.
notes.
That was all I was looking for that news bit. So.
Next,
you're laughing, asshole. So it worked.
I was like, what can we talk about with this fucking helicopter? He's okay. Great. It was an old one-liner.
Classic Shane. That's all there is to say about it. He's the man.
So there's rumors, and
the big man that I'm hopefully going to be working for at some point if I ever go back.
You know that's really a thing, though. Like, I think we've talked about this in past episodes, but like now that Shane is around and present, because for so long we just went, well, if Vince goes, Hunter and Steph. Yeah. Shane's there. Granted, Vince seems healthy and he'll probably live till 3,000, but like
he'll outlive everybody.
Yeah, he's the last one. He'll be just ahead.
Outlive Stephanie, Hunter, Shane. It's just he's going to be 105 years old, still just running shit. And it's Hunter's daughters are married to other wrestlers, and it's just like you think it's just going to be an ongoing storyline.
But there's rumors, and this I think this is true because it's logical, but about Brock, going to fight again for UFC,
I saw that.
Which is obvious. Yeah, it's going to happen.
It's such a great payday for him on that, and it's he always trains really, really hard. I think he always does. He always stays in shape and whatnot. Obviously, in a camp is typically, I don't know if they're 8 to 12 weeks usually that they run. I know his last one, it might even be 16 weeks on some of them, but I know is like that Mark Hunt fight was a short notice type deal where he didn't even do a full camp. And
I mean, who's to say he doesn't even need to at this point if he doesn't care about the outcome, which, I don't know if he does. It could be Brock likes his money, so he doesn't need to. If he doesn't want to train for something, he still gets a massive payday just for showing up and buy rates.
I think he's such an athlete though, and I think he would bust his ass no matter. Honestly, I think if he does it could be all solely for the money. That's fine. I think he has enough pride in himself that he always trains hard regardless. And I think I think he knows that too from being in that game and whatnot, the level of conditioning and whatnot that takes. And he looked great that last fight, I thought. It's
they took it away for the old wellness policy or the USADA.
We talked about that. Yeah. And I don't know. It's such a weird thing because like Clomid's not that was supposedly what he tested for. That's not necessarily a performance enhancer as far as it's not like it's not a steroid. Mm-hmm. It can help possibly help raise your natural testosterone.
Okay.
But again, I remember it was just a weird him and the other the Bones Jones guy.
Yeah.
They both and it was very odd because that alone isn't like. But I don't know that whole world, what guys do over there, and if they do other things before the fight, and then that's an after thing. I don't know. So, but Brock's fucking big regardless. So I know he fought before, even when he go under 265, he's still a beast regardless. So it's I think he'll. It depends who he fights, the matchup and whatnot. But I think it sells itself.
Well, I think
he always is an attraction.
UFC's in a weird spot where they don't have. People may disagree, but they don't have a lot of top draws anymore. And it's Ronda retired. Connors,
did she retire?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much she's done. Like that's
okay.
I don't see her. I mean, she could just pop up and fight again. They had issue. Well, Connor's doing his thing obviously with the boxing, will he go back?
What's your thoughts on all that? We haven't even talked about it. Did you see those press conferences with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, Connor's just eating them up. And the truth is, everyone's so obsessed with the outcome. I just want to see the show. I'm looking at this completely from the, I don't think this thing could end where Connor looks stupid. Like that, it just can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. They are selling this fight, is what they are doing.
Yeah, they're going to make a lot of money, and that's
they are using pro wrestling, a little bit of pro wrestling, at these press conferences. But the great thing is they just let these guys go out and say whatever they want to say, and that's what people want to see.
Sure.
And again, you'll have people that rip them apart for certain things that they say and whatnot. They're just going out there and selling that fight. And if you don't think those two guys, or the fact that they didn't come to blows out there, he's rubbing his head like they're selling this fight and they're doing an amazing job at it. And I wish them nothing but the best. If you can go out there and command that much money, and they're gonna like. I think it's worth $100 if that's what it's going for that night of entertainment, just to see it. I think it's no matter what the outcome. It's just because it's the whole leading up, the whole process. They are selling that fight, and they are doing a great job doing it.
It's historic, but after that, I don't see Conor going back to UFC unless he has some sort of ownership with the company. If not, I think he'll start his own. It just seems logical, but they don't have a lot of big Brock's always been an attraction for them. They have a couple people that are on the up and up. I think Johanna for the females, and I think Cody Garbrandt for the male if he keeps winning. But like Bones Jones is coming back. He's an attraction. They wanted George St. Pierre. Things fell through with that. They're missing these. They're kind of panicking for these things. So I think that just goes hand in hand where they will openly welcome Brock back. He has to go through whatever the suspension is for the violation. But as soon as that's cleared up, they're going to want to get him. Whose opponent will be? I hope it's not in terms of. I hope it's a super fight. I hope it's
Mark Hunt fight. Would they do that fight again? You think?
See, I don't know, Mark. I don't think Mark would unless there's some testing beforehand. Because I mean, he accuses UFC of knowing that Brock would have failed the test beforehand. That they had the result, and he was really unhappy with this. And I think even though he lost, it took away a lot of momentum from him because he's in his 40s. He has that he had that Cinderella story. But who's to say? Hey, man, money fixes everything. That might be the fight people want to see. Or
I feel like that's the natural fight to go back to. If
could be
because that's essentially unresolved if you go by storyline purposes of what has happened with this. Like it was like you would like to see a final fight with that. So, but yeah, I think it's good. It's good for everything. Brock, he's a smart man, so he knows what he's doing.
Other things we had here, Kurt Angle has a new son.
Did I ever tell you that was originally supposed to be me?
That was, right? And you were the third member of NWO too. Was
that also? Me and Kurt talked about this many times before he went back, so I'm a little disappointed that he switched it up on me.
So,
Jesus.
What do you think? I think I enjoy this because I know a lot of people don't like it. I'm a fan of this angle. Are you?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't get upset over anything they do. I think it's you do things and see how people react to it, and then you go by that, and you adjust as you go along. And I think it's they were very early. They're kind of doing things I feel like sometimes with like Big Cass and Enzo. And now Gable and Jordan, like they're very early on in their careers, splitting them up. Where I feel like they're a tag team. They were a tag team before. You could have got more mileage out of them.
Yeah.
I always think you should maximize your runs, and I think those were a little sped up, and that's just my opinion on it and whatnot. But everything's at a faster pace now, and they might see stuff in them as individual stars, and want to really get that process started. Because they think it's going to be worth it, in the next year or two down the road once these guys get some singles time under their belts. And for Jason Jordan, this is a good stepping stone. And I don't know where it goes, who knows, and all that. But it's a great opportunity. It's just kind of we got to see where it goes. But essentially it comes down to he'll have an opportunity as a singles wrestler. It looks like, right?
100%, yeah.
Is he on Raw now? Is that what it is?
That whole thing was he's newly on Raw and he'll now have a big part. I mean, it's a career-changing, path that they put him on.
Yeah, and I think too that the thing for him, and I'm sure they'll tell him too. And you never know what direction how they're trying to play it is, but though to be his own guy still, and not to try to just copy Kurt, and you know what I mean? Because that's the easy thing to try to do. But I think, does he have an amateur background as well?
He sure does, but I'm just interested. Does this go down the path of?
I love you're right. He sure does. As you were
But,
like swallow, it was just visually what you can't see listening. That whole thing was great.
He will he go down the path of being Kurt Angle's son, or is this going to be set up as a ruse? That's why I kind of like it. There's multiple ways he can end up being an energetic babyface or a real dastardly heel that was in on this whole big lie. But it's at least it's something. It's something
a storyline,
substantial.
and it's a storyline. And I told you the other day we talked about. I'm a big fan of them doing storylines on the TV show to get you to tune in every week.
Yeah.
Like the Enzo and Cass thing and paying it off on TV. That gives you a reason to tune in. And it's there's that always I feel like they're doing things better than they have even when I was there before and whatnot. I think when the brand split, people say we complain. No, I talk good about them a lot on different things and when they're doing and it's my opinion on things, but I'll talk about my truth on different situations and whatnot, and whether you take a positive or negative from that, I can't control that. But I think they're doing a good job on those things, and it's a great opportunity for them.
What about the cancellation of Talking Smack? A lot of fans were not happy, and they've eliminated that from because people think that it's true. Miz came from that. A lot of good segments.
Well, Miz was already there from before. Miz has been there, but it helped him reestablish himself again.
That's what I'm saying. That launch, that whole thing made him and he's always had peaks and valleys, whether the way they want to showcase him. But this allowed him the platform naturally where people are like, oh, crap. And they put him in a better light because of it. And I think a couple other people, too. Dan had some killer promos. Granted, he's not in but it was. I felt like it was more of a real test as a performer because you could stay in character but still answer things in a shoot fashion.
It was It didn't seem to be that there was a script for that.
Yeah,
it seemed like it was just go out there and do the interview but stay in character as much as you can or whatever. But it's you got to understand, and this is why I said and Vince created this world and it used to be a different way back in the past, and he wants control over everything, and that's fine. That's what he's allowed to feel that way, and people can get upset all they want, but it's his company and he has sponsors, and you got to look at this from maybe he felt that it's too risky letting people go out there and wing it, and he might think someone's going to say something bad eventually and cost him money or cost him a sponsor, and so because it's not a scripted show, and they don't have time to make it a scripted show because there's too much content, and it's you never know. It's one of those things that's why it's just his deal, and he's allowed to make that decision. So whether people like it or not, it seemed to be a very popular show from what I understand.
Yeah, people are not happy with that, and I think it was one of the more organic things that
But you say that too, and we know how things work there. They want the people that they want to get over.
Exactly, which is why it's going away.
Yeah, so that's another outlet for people. It's like the social media stuff that they can't control that. So it's and that's just the name of the game. They like control. That is what it is, and you can't control that, so we take it away. And they're allowed to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what it is.
No, there is something wrong with that. I mean, that's the whole, that's the cancellation of,
But I'm saying this is what wrestling is today, and that's what at that level, that's what it is. So there's other places where that's not how it works. So,
but it's weird how what's the worst thing that's happened on? I don't know. Talking Smack, no matter. I feel like it only appeals to a really super small demographic, but real organic, almost little sparks happen up. Like Miz's whole run was from that show.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it was great. I don't know. I just can't. Obviously it was a great outlet for the talent, and I agree with that completely. It's just we can't. That's their call, and they don't. There's nothing you could say or do, and. Just let them do what they want to do. People, there's nothing, and there's nothing you can do about it, essentially, and nothing anyone can do about it. If that's something, I don't know. I just think that's his world. You got to let him just do it. That's what I've learned with all this. That's why I walked away. It's his world. I got to go create my own world. That's the mentality. Like, or you stay around and you got to play by the rules. So,
okay. I think I get what you're trying to say. I don't know if I necessarily agree. I just think that it's,
No, people seem to like the show, so why would you take it away? It's, again, a guy goes out there and gets over. Why would you take it away? They've done that time and time again with numerous talents.
Yeah.
That's just the way that's the way that it rolls up there.
It's just an eye-rolling thing, which, it shouldn't be, but it is.
No, but it is. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Man, this show's getting me in a bad mood. We got some reviews.
I was going to also mention today this non-wrestling, but I was a big Linkin Park fan growing up, and I still listen to a lot of their songs. Big 90s guy, if you haven't heard. But Chester Bennington, the lead singer for Linkin Park, committed suicide today. It'll be about half a week by the time this podcast comes out. And I just think, again, it kind of this goes along with everyone. And I know we have a really good following and good listeners and whatnot, but it doesn't matter who and what you are, the lowest of low, however you think you're viewed, or the highest of high, that everybody's a human being and everybody experiences their own trouble. And nobody really knows what this guy was going through. He had a lot of money. He had 6 children, but he chose to end his life. And people will form their own opinions on that. But again, it goes back and looking at like an actor like Robin Williams, who is so talented and whatnot. I think it's important, and this ties into the whole social media thing and in making comments to people, and like everybody gets it from top to bottom. Don't be that way. Just be a good human being, and don't waste your time doing that. And like, you never know what anybody's going through and whatnot. And this guy seemed like he was on top of the world and would have had everything, right? But he chose to end it. And it's just, it's a very unfortunate. And I just wanted to touch on that. I think it's something, it sucks, but you never know what other people are going through, and everybody has their issues. So.
All right. I can't do reviews after that. I don't.
You got to. That's what you already said. You have.
I can't fucking go, hey, here's a review of the show. You just talked about suicide. How do I? I mean, how do I do that? How do I I can't do this, man.
You brought it up.
I didn't bring that up. Let's go to reviews. You talk about what you want to talk about, and then it goes in a little tirade, and sometimes I'm not even in the room, and then I go back. I can't go back. Hey, this podcast is my number one on the week after something serious like that. I can't bounce back.
Do you want another break, Pat?
I need another break. Fuck.
All right. We'll be right back, guys.
Hey, everyone. In addition to being the co-host of this podcast, I'm the founder and promoter of WrestlePro. Dare I say, WrestlePro puts on the best professional wrestling live events in the country. We're also fully insured and licensed. Now, if you're listening to the show, then you clearly love professional wrestling, and I appreciate that. I also have a question for you. Would you like professional wrestling in your area, maybe in your hometown, your high school, your college, your civic center, your stadium? Whatever you want. If you're a civic group, a sports team, a fire department, a police department, if you have a corporate event, a festival, any group that is looking to raise funds or put on an entertaining show, WrestlePro is your promotion. This is not your regular wrestling show. Just in the last year, WrestlePro has brought in incredible talent such as Terry Funk, DDP, Booker T, Ryback, Cody Rhodes, Hornswoggle, Colt Cabana, Brian Cage, Jeff Jarrett, Tommy Dreamer, the Hardy Boys, Scott Steiner, and much, much more. Even the Nature Boy Ric Flair has been with WrestlePro and loves it. Tell him, Nate.
It's the Nature Boy, woo, Ric Flair, WrestlePro, the Nature Boy, signing autographs. Look as only you can look. WrestlePro, be there. Woo, 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 woo. Limousine riding, jet flying. Woo, WrestlePro, woo.
If you're seriously interested, WrestlePro can bring a live wrestling show to your town. A full professional wrestling card complete with talent, 8 matches, sound system, lighting, the works. We design the artwork and posters. We help you sell the tickets. We push all of our events all over our social media. We believe in good repeat business. Packages and prices vary on talent requested and their availability. For more information, contact me directly at WrestleProOnline@yahoo.com or simply check out www.wrestleproonline.com and you can see our past and upcoming events to get a taste of what WrestlePro is all about. I hope to hear from you soon.
All right, we're back. What do you think, Pat?
All right. I guess I'll read the reviews now.
Reviews of the week. I have a guy on that has messaged me. He came to a couple of the appearances wanting me to pick him, which is kind of rigging it a little bit.
Do you have his name or no?
It was, I forgot to screenshot it off it was the other day. It was TKO something, I believe.
I've seen one like that. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't, it's hard to, I can't rig it, but if we come across his review, we'll see. I got to be honest with these. Yeah.
So first one's from Thunder6465. This podcast is my number one. I honestly don't care what the marks say about the big guy. I like his work ethic and his determination, and I can't say that about many in the industry. It goes beyond wrestling. I love it. Can you add more fitness and life tips? Keep up the work, brother. I love the podcast. Thank you, Thunder6465.
Good deal.
Next one, Jim Sand, 22, third time's a charm. These reviews never stick, so this is my third and final try. 5 stars. The big guy has me dying whenever a mark needs a meat hook and a shell shock, because I actually picture it happening. Great tips. Due to the keto diet, Zevia, AST. What's AST?
The supplement company that makes the multivitamin and a couple other things. That was one I discovered early on as a kid. That was a pretty reputable company.
And not being a mark, I feel super healthy. I'm down 12 pounds and getting my weights up. From big guy in training to the big guy. Thanks, brah. If you ever need a sidekick, let me know.
And what was his name?
Jim or JM Sand 22. And that's all we got this week. A little slow. We hit 300 reviews, so thank you guys. That's really nice.
Thank you guys very much.
We can't be that shitty if we have 300 reviews unless people just want a free supplement.
You never know. All right, I'm going to go with, since it's his third time, I think that it was a really solid review. And JM Sand 22. Because 22 is also my number on Ryback 22. The multiple reasons for this. And this is final. He threatened us. So you're this week's winner. Please send in your screenshot along with your supplement of choice. And you'll get a free Feed Me More Nutrition shaker bottle workout towel along with the supplement of your choice. And please send your shipping address. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the reviews, guys. All of you. Thank you very much.
JSand 22. Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead. You want to go ahead and get into a few tips of the week this week?
Let's, please.
Pat's really upset with me, guys, today.
I'm a little angry today. A little testy.
What is?
Hold on.
I feel like you're really testy today. Is everything going on, or what's the deal? You've never really gotten mad at me. You got a little mad on bringing up the Lincoln Park stuff.
It's nothing against Lincoln Park, because Eddie could probably put this together eventually. There's a lot of times where I don't like the pauses in between, so it goes, well, let's move on to this. And a lot of times you're like, wait, hold on, and we'll go into that, which I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll figure out a way to roll to the next thing. But it's like, hey, we're time for reviews of the week. No, let's talk about this sad fucking thing. And then I can't follow that with, all right, people love this show, blah, 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 blah. And I died. I can't do it.
I look at it as getting in because there's a certain amount of things that we got to talk about on the news, but I told you there's a very positive message in there. I feel like they let people like us to talk. It might have not been the best timing, but it's hard.
The timing, yeah.
But there's no other point. Like it's going to be really hard to get that in next week because there's so much news during the week that, I feel like, and I told you, I get a lot of emails from people saying how this show affects their lives, and I feel like it's those moments that aren't wrestling that make this show even stand out from what the other wrestling shows and whatnot. So I apologize.
Eventually this will be 2 hours of fitness stuff because the wrestling's just not working.
Pat leaves me in anger, and it's just me doing fitness. Today was 34 sets of biceps in the gym, guy. Let me tell you about every fucking set. And about 300 people listening, so I apologize, Pat.
Thanks. All right, what do we got now?
Tips of the week. Yay! All right, tips of the week this week. In which, I cut you off a lot on here. I'm really bad at that.
I haven't noticed.
it's a work. I can tell it's slowly building. You just got to say, "Let me fucking talk." This real life, we're gonna eventually. This is gonna turn into Ryback versus Pat Cena. Just so you know, it's
really.
gonna be over this podcast for rights to the podcast.
Someone actually gave me a new birthday party. I was complimented because people have noticed I put a lot into my physique lately. Ginger Mahal will be
He's your
wrestling
trainer?
at the birthday party. No, Ginger Mahal.
Wait,
do you get it?
You're really big on using the imposters, I see.
Yeah, so it might be coming to the birthday party.
Wait, are you you're Ginger Mahal then?
I'm Ginger Mahal now, apparently.
Jesus Christ.
Which I was like, thank you very much. And no.
Wait, are you really wrestling as him or not?
No, I just thought it was a hell of a name.
I feel like that's the best part of this whole podcast is that you have to do this now. With the two twins, the tag team, I told you that your students.
Yeah, the Graysons.
Where the Graysons. I apologize. That they're the ginger guys for you that come out before the. This has to be a thing. Can you be a heel and maybe the birthday party I wrestle that guy? All right, guys. Match of the week this week. Did you catch this match? I told you about it earlier, and I apologize on the name. Is it Naito versus Ibushi for the G1 Climax 27? Somebody told me check that match out this week. You'll really dig it. And they had the full match on YouTube, and man, it was incredible. I don't know. Have you seen any of that or no?
I was watching something before that was on Facebook. I don't know if it was that match. I don't know if it was new or older, but I think I did see a lot of it, to be honest with you.
It was the only thing. There was those guys, man. Those guys, I like it because they do some cool things, but they sell. That's and they sell throughout. And there's a couple points. There was a pile driver from the second rope onto it, and which was just used as a near fall. And again, those guys. That's the risk they're willing to take. So you can't. But that was outside of that, though. It was, and again, that's incredible doing that and pulling it off and hopefully safely and everything like that. But it was just watching that. It's not it's just them selling. The moves are cool and they do. I appreciate the selling and keeping that art form alive. And that was my match of the week this week.
Okay.
Quote, nothing from a female, Pat. I thought that was appropriate to do a female quote this week.
Wow, women can give quotes. All right.
That was you, not me, everybody. Start that shit on Pat. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible, by Audrey Hepburn. So that is the quote of the week from the big guy. My book this week, Invisible Influence. Hell of a book. I'm just finishing it up here. The Hidden Forces That Shape Behavior by Jonah Berger. So check that book out, guys. That's my book of the week. Nutrition tip. Pat, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but air pop popcorn with a little bit of the spray butter and sea salt or potassium salt is a great, great, healthy snack that is so much better for you than usually the air pop. Like the bags have different chemicals in them and whatnot. Yeah. But it's also the air pop popcorn it's just fiber, clean carbs, and no fat, and a little bit of the spray butter that you can buy in the oil section, those little spray cans, and a little bit
it's really, really good. I've always been a big spray butter guy.
Yeah, and you just got to be, obviously don't use the whole can because I don't know. They never have the nutrition facts on the cans of the spray butters, by the way, because they say a third of a spray, like it's a third of a spray, and there's no calories in it. So, and that's like 0.333 seconds, something crazy like that. So you wonder, like, what's in the whole bottle? Because it's butter, obviously, to some degree. What is the calorie content of that whole thing? I don't know. But so just always keep that in mind while you're doing that. Again, on the keto diet, though, there's 0 carbs in that. But again, you don't want to put too much fats on the popcorn and whatnot. So, but that's a healthy alternative to especially have a little carb snack at night. It's much better than a lot of other choices out there. And the fitness tip of the week this week is don't always weigh yourself. Go by the mirror and how you feel. We've all been guilty of it. I know I have myself. It's really easy to get on the scale and you might look in the mirror and feel great, but you want to weigh 280, but you weigh 275, but you look amazing, and you're like, well, I gotta weigh 280. Well, why? It's just a number. Mm-hmm. So, and again, I think a lot of people can get discouraged by it, and it's good to weigh and have your weigh-in sessions, but not to do it all the time, because it could really, there's so many things that affect your water weight, your water retention, and the different times of the day, whether you've gone to the bathroom, how much food you're holding in your system, what you've eaten for that day. So there's a lot that goes into it. So don't weigh yourself all the time. Go by how you feel in the mirror. And that's the tips for the week.
All right, very good. Do we take a break and come back for the old main events?
Yeah, we got our mean tweets from this week. So stay tuned for the main event, guys.
Do you enjoy a crisp, refreshing soft drink, but hate choosing between the empty calories and the artificial sweeteners? Well, now you don't have to, thanks to Zevia. With Zevia, you don't have to worry about any potential harmful side effects, since they have no caramel coloring and use the natural plant-based sweetener stevia. Zevia offers 14 different flavors of soda, 4 flavors of sparkling wine, and 4 different energy drinks. That gives you a ton of safer and delicious options for you to enjoy. It's the safest soft drink on the market, made with ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. There's nothing artificial in any of their products, and there isn't any calories either. It's a miracle. Now, Zevia is giving our fans a chance to try it yourselves for free. If you live in the U.S. or Canada, just head over to Zevia.com/podcast and sign up. They'll mail you a coupon to try a free 6-pack just like that. Go to Zevia.com/podcast now and get your free Zevia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following segment is your main event of the podcast.
It's time for that main event. And today, we don't know how this will work, but it's been a long, trying week of those Twitter people out there. So, Eddie, if you don't mind, while we read these mean tweets directed at Ryback 22, let's get some music playing. A little REM, Everybody Hurts. If you can start that off, Eddie, right now. Here we go.
This isn't nearly all of them either. This was just a portion from the last couple days, essentially. I didn't even get in the Warrior stuff during all that. But this was pretty much all from yesterday. And not even all of them. Just
imagine living your life, and then this pops up on your phone from Zazzy, Sasa.
I appreciate that. Yeah, give the name.
Sasa Zekzi to Ryback. You're ugly, and you can't wrestle. You should probably just retire. Thoughts?
They want my thoughts on that. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing right now. I'm making great money. I'm sorry you feel that way, pal. Thank you. You were forever blocked.
Silly Billy on Twitter. BILLIE. 90% of the women's roster makes more money than you and can out-wrestle you, you piece of shit. Please block me. It will make my day.
I guess I made your day because you're blocked, asshole.
From not Triple H.
Sounds like a classic.
This is a nice picture of him in like his 1995 attire. Not to be redundant, but you're a fucking idiot. Most of the women you objectify could wrestle circles around your roided up ass.
Jesus Christ. It's just people like this that are just so goddamn fucking stupid, Pat, that it's just, you can't just shake your head and laugh at it. It's unfortunate. These are people functioning in society. A lot of these were kids from this day, from that little girl that posted the video, but fuck. They're kids of Warrens, so they're even worse.
From Abdul Malik, ZXL64. That's right. Sit on your couch and watch Ms. Charlotte WWE do what she does best, you fucking mark.
I actually just got in from walking my dogs. I DVR'd, so we have stuff to talk about on the podcast if something comes up. But I'm glad you bought into that snap, and thank you for following me on Snapchat. Yeah, fucking Mark.
From Mark Caruso, 216. Ryback 22 is burning down every bridge that he's ever built.
I mean, if they only knew what was going on, they would, okay, if that's what you think, champ.
The next one would be from Wrestle Potato, Mooned Bella. That's, Jesus, they have some fucked up names.
They're all fucked up if you don't notice. Not any one of them has a fucking regular name, Pat. They're all, it's all from the same fucking cloth.
It's like you meet someone on, like, well, when they meet these people in real life, it's like, hey, man, like, you want to follow me? Well, what's your Twitter name? It's Wrestle Potato. Like,
yeah, cool.
All right, man. Like, what if you meet someone that...
Oh, I like wrestling and I like cheesy potatoes.
Like, what if you meet someone at like a dinner with your like family or friends or someone like, hey, you know, this person will be good for you, and you start talking like, hey, oh yeah, follow me on Twitter. What's your name? Oh, it's like L Smith. What's yours? Wrestle Potato. Well, Wrestle Potato says, Ryback, nobody wants to buy merch that smells like you. You're a failure.
All right, if you, this goes into the whole thing with like the different publications writing that I told you there was another new one this week, and which they added me in after we contacted them, and now the attorney is sending the letters. So we'll see how they reply to that. If they choose to be assholes with that, then it will get taken a step further. Jesus, what is wrong with these people? Like, I don't need to brag and toot my own horn on the amount of money that I have made. I have done extremely well. I did. Yeah.
All right.
Honk, honk. Thanks for calling me out on that, asshole. No, but it's just, I could beat it's beating a dead horse. So it's, these people are just.
Let's get back to insulting you. All right, here we go.
Yeah. I know you're enjoying this tonight.
From Kirsty, WWE. Listening to Ryback commenting on what Miss Charlotte WWE should be doing in a match is disgusting. She has way more talent than him and a bigger dick. Jealousy.
That's a real compliment to Charlotte. I'm sure. Like you're a real fan of hers by saying that, you dumb motherfucker.
That one isn't very good. Sorry, that wasn't even an insult.
No, if it's a compliment,
go
ahead and read
it. It was a compliment.
No, yeah. Go ahead and read it. If it's a compliment, why are you solely trying to bash me?
It was
right
complimenting
now,
Baby Got Right from Denise Singh.
Okay. Yeah, I know the rap. Yeah,
Baby Got Ryback. Got me wanting more Ryback 22.
A lot of compliments. We didn't touch on that this week. My hit single, "It's a Hard Mark Life." I will be doing. I believe it was, the outcome was no on the poll, barely. That you don't want to hear me rapping anymore. But it was so close. There were so many people that still do. Much like WWE, I don't give a shit what you want. I'm going to do what I want. It's my show. So, but in all fairness, I am going to respect your wishes moving forward. But I'm going to do my farewell tour, so to speak, with "It's a Hard Mark Life" next week.
Oh boy, Kristen.
Yeah, I've already got the chorus.
Ryback, really? If it's true, you have no class. I bet some of these women can out-wrestle you.
Okay.
Kartik Mehra on Twitter. Hey, you deprived piece of shit. Stop sexualizing women wrestlers.
Just keep them going. There's a lot. I know we have a lot to get through. I just want to get it's a lot. My favorite, I didn't actually send it to you, was somebody wrote, you fucking suck a fart out of my ass or something. And all I could think of was like, of course, you're just so goddamn lazy you can't even fucking fart on your own. You need me to help you with that, you lazy piece of shit. But
this name, I actually really like this name. Meow Meow Fuzzy Face. Absolutely blown away that a man like Ryback, who rates women out of 10, is a sexist idiot. His comments are a joke.
Okay.
From the Wrestle Scoop. A lot of these too. Okay, mind you, I see a lot of the tweets. 8 times out of 10, they have some sort of a podcast or a SoundCloud account, and that to me is like really like, holy shit. From Lex at the Wrestle Scoop, reasons why nobody will sign this talentless dickwad, and then they put up the.
If he only knew the stuff going on this past year, and in me saying no to different situations and what I'm doing and focusing on me, These people are idiots. I can't stress it enough. And everybody knows it's a small percentage of people out there, but it's really bad. There's no helping them. We might occasionally get one that can cross back over to the good side, but they are fucking lost souls, Pat.
From Cursed Celts, I gotta agree with the internet, Ryback. You really are a fucking retard.
That's really nice. I appreciate you using that word.
Jeremy Ball, JM Ball 21. Yo, Ryback, you needs to get all the way out of here with your shit.
He sounds like he's doing really well in life.
Wrestling Fella, at Wrestling Fan. This is all within an hour. Wrestling Fan 129.
There were a fucking lot yesterday from that video. It was. I would say maybe the over under. I would say there was between 200 and 250. Maybe the most I've ever had in one day of negative things ever.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Goddamn. From Wrestling Fella, Wrestling Fan 129. You're a fucking idiot, Ryback. Some of the women are better than the men. CM Punk was right. You're dumb as fuck.
I hope I made his day.
From Danny. Hello, it's Danny on Twitter. It's bitter that the women in WWE have far more exciting careers than yours ever was. You're a sexist pig. Emoji with the eyes rolling back.
This guy doesn't know shit. It's really unfortunate. These people, it's like these are the bottom of bottom feeders in life. They're just going to latch on to the next thing. But I'm glad they're out of my existence now. But please keep it going. There's much more, guys.
From Mason Souza, this one isn't that bad. Is it wrong that Ryback likes looking at women's butts? LMAO. That wasn't an insult.
Oh, that wasn't an insult at all.
From Brandon Podcasts. Ryback 22, is it starting to hit home how irrelevant you've become, so you try to shit talk others to gain notoriety? All the best, dipshit.
Who shit talks? This is the whole thing, is nobody shit talk anybody. That this guy's such a dumb motherfucking piece of shit that he doesn't even know what he's fucking responding to. God, like what a fucking feed me moron. I've done nothing but compliment the women's wrestlers. Always. We talked about one character trait that could get them more attention to all audiences. I did. And it's just fucking, Jesus, you fucking just moron.
From Gelbell, Ninetails 20. Dear Ryback, the girls on the current roster aren't fucking botch machines with a chip on their shoulder. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, she sounds like a manly man. Jeez. You go, girl. Fucking goddamn loser.
What else we got here? The only thing Ryback... This is from the guy that we based the mark for...
From you?
From Buck Never Stops.
Yeah.
This is the one... No, this is the guy we based the whole Mark for Life thing on last week. He tweeted...
Oh, wait, is it really? I'm glad I blocked that
from
piece
ALOFOKE, and he has a number, but I can't see it there. The only thing Ryback ever got over was Goldberg chants.
Oh, that's fucking really clever, buddy. Good for you. God, I don't even know how to, it's just so, these are all just childish, just people that their bank accounts are zero and they have nothing going on in life.
I keep seeing these. I should describe the pictures they have, too. From Jax.
It's
like this guy's
ahead,
kissing the big gold belt. It's like, man, whew.
I can't. That's why people there are people I'll post some occasionally. You'll notice on social media I'll put their pictures up just so they can be accountable for the words that they say, so other people could see them. Somebody actually messaged me, "You're a real piece of shit for making fun of the way people look." I've never said anything bad about the way people look. I remind them of their pictures that they have publicly posted, so they can look at themselves on a bigger scale and more people could see them and see how they talk on social media. Hold them accountable.
Think Twitter should have a license. You shouldn't.
I was thinking that this week. You talking about that before? You are so on with that. There should really be. I do think in the future. I think it's something.
Yeah, or a new social media where you have to be, credible and
competent.
From Jax, WWE Carner Jax. See, you're trying to use the women of WWE to get attention. Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley. They could wrestle you any day.
Yeah, it's fake. You could tell any story you want, you dumb, stupid motherfucker. This is another thing that a lot of people they like to sit there and say you're so irrelevant. You're so irrelevant. Okay, I walked away on my own. I'm not trying to garner attention. I'm doing all the things that I love and enjoy. It's you guys that keep talking about me. So who's like? It's just so like look in the mirror. You're so concerned you feel the need to message me and tell me how irrelevant I am. Yet there's so many of you doing it. So how irrelevant really am I? Huh? And nobody's using anybody for attention. I can't control what people want to talk about me. I'm the most polarizing man in sports entertainment, Pat. And these people are fucking proving my
trademark
point.
with my attorney to get that, just in case.
It's just the truth. I can't help it. It's just you either have it or you don't. I've always had it.
Son of a bitch. No fame needed. Ryback saying that females can't do certain moves in the ring. Try doing the Matrix move better than Trish Stratus. You can't. LOL.
Do you want me to post a video of me doing it in her outfit? You dumb motherfucker. God damn. I got a backhand spring trainer in the backyard. I could do a lot of shit right
I actually like this insult tweet. This is creative. From Amanda Joe. I am Amanda Joe. Dear Ryback, I climbed a ladder to pull down my attic door. Shocking, I know, with me being a woman and all.
That was the one that I actually wrote a response to online, that it was like something like who helped you or something. I can't remember. And everybody was outraged because it was clearly just being sarcastic to the entire situation. That's fucking so goddamn ridiculous. And people, that's another thing. The ladder thing we talked about is just like, it's all a fucking joke. It's the fact that this has gone over this certain class of human beings' eyes, their heads, is just.
There's nothing literal about women can't climb ladder. Like women,
they're fucking human beings.
Climb a ladder.
Yeah, you guys are so goddamn hellbent on proving that. Like, fuck, raise your standards. Fuck. Jeez, I don't know what to say to that. Like, how do you not know that it's a joke? I said it's a joke right after it. God.
Someone
damn.
asked me, or I put up a tweet defending, like, they were saying something about me as a trainer. And I was like, well, I'm going to go train a bunch of talented women right now. And then one of the listeners was like, ladder class? And I'm like, man, that'd be funny if I'm just teaching how to climb a ladder and kind of film it. You know what I mean? To my girls.
I should hold
my
seminars for that. Yeah, I mean, right? I mean, God, according to these people, they need it. Like, fuck, because they don't know how to take a joke.
From La Croqueta 6, Dear Ryback, I suggest you shut the fuck up and stop being bitter than the women that have surpassed you in the ring. You cannot even wrestle.
I mean, I've proven that I could wrestle, and I've made a hell of an amount of money doing it. So I don't know what you're talking about.
That was a compliment. I'm going to switch that one.
Yeah, fuck those compliments. I love, my favorite part of this whole show is you got mad at me on this show. I finally have got. I feel like the comments and everything everything is wearing down, and you're getting frustrated with me, and this show's gonna blow up any fucking
Kevin
second.
Thomas, note, Ryback, men do have sex appeal too. You just can't relate.
We did talk about men wrestling in their underwear and in singlets and everything. They just happened to leave that part out, or nobody listened to that about the sexuality in wrestling for men and women. So shut the fuck up, you stupid motherfucker.
Big Dog.
If these people, by the way, I've never had one meet and greet where I've met a bad fan. Is that kind of odd?
That's not at all.
You would think, yeah, but there's so many online. It's God.
From Feast Imperium. Oh my God, Ryback, you're the big bitch.
I'm the big guy, and it's trademarked, you big bitch.
From Beegs 1970, Ryback, am I wrong in expressing my disappointment in you? I've been blocked by you and it says Stu. Oh, it said Bad Take Barrett. I thought that was Stu. Never mind. This one was.
Can't even get blocked by the real one.
This is stupid. Here's a good one. From Brent Mafuka. Ryback, you're a giant, roided up, talentless fucking faggot. Go injure some more guys in the ring, you fucking meathead.
This is, I'm telling you, the fact that this guy is walking down the streets in our country is fucking
Meanwhile, in his Twitter picture, he's just sitting on a beach, nice and relaxed, looking at the ocean.
I have managed to enrage this man that much where he has insulted me on multiple things. He must really get off on those big gay Ryback fucking reads.
From Kat, from Flair's Club, at Flair's Club. You're such a piece of trash. Get a life. Jesus, there's so many.
I don't even, that was a really shitty response. That wasn't even
from
a good
what
insult.
Ray Wow Wow, Alistair's End, Ryback. Fuck, you're so trash. These are really kind of dwindling. Oh.
No, I'm sure they'll pick up. I just took pictures of the ones that I got from a certain period yesterday.
From Kenny, FXNNO Mega. Why do I feel like Ryback is intimidated by the women in WWE because they're getting stronger? Or they're even stronger than the men already? LMAO.
This is somebody that didn't listen to any of anything where I put them over. And, yeah, I don't really know what to say to that. Like, it's these people, these guys, they lack brain cells, Pat, and it's really, there's no helping them, I feel.
Rusty from at Fuck the Revival. What kind of name is...
I've seen that a lot this week, by the way.
That's from Cody.
Is that a real thing?
They just go back and forth, but Cody's thing is that he kind of stings it to them and always says "fuck the Revival" because they.
Oh, is he friends with them or no?
I mean, like, I think that they think that they're the best tag team in wrestling, and like the Bucks kind of. I think the Bucks are better than. I think the Revival are great, but they. Bucks been around longer, and this isn't insults, but like, they take every Arn and Tully spot, which is cool. I do too, but like, they were just kind of so. Cody's always his whole thing is just every chance he gets, he says "fuck the Revival," which is kind of funny.
Okay, I get it.
What kind of name is fucking ISO hungry? You're American. Don't pretend you can't say "I'm so hungry." Wow, I can't believe someone put that. That's embarrassing.
I put that on there because I wanted to comment on this because this guy is just beyond goddamn fucking stupid.
That's bad. That's pretty fucking bad.
ISO is from whey protein isolate. So ISO hungry and hungry just with the whole feed me more. And it wasn't I'm so hungry because ISO is from whey protein isolate, which is what it is. You stupid motherfucker. Just fucking get out of my life. Oh, you already are. Goodbye.
From Ramon, RSX SR. Can't be surprised by his behavior. I've always thought Ryback was #dumb as fuck.
Oh, you go, you punk fan. You were right all along. Good for you.
From Joa Harrington, Cena Fix on Twitter. Ryback's a complete idiot who should have been born in the 19th century. Most women wrestlers are far better than the big douche. Ryback.
If it would have meant avoiding all you stupid motherfuckers, I would have been very happy being born in that era. God, it would fucking be a blessing to get away from all you pieces of shit.
From TG Fish.
Or just block
these are getting out of control. TG Fish 7. Chatting absolute bollocks and try to stay relevant. What a fucking idiot this guy is. You wouldn't see this much shit from a baby.
I'm not the one that puts this stuff up and tries to create clickbait headlines. You guys are the ones that are fucking fueling all this. So fucking hate yourselves. I'm doing what I'm doing. I have a supplement company and a brand. I don't want this shit. I don't want you guys talking about me. I want you to forget about me, you dumb motherfucker. Get lost.
From Gustavo Gama. Hey, Ryback, suck my dick.
Can't see it.
From Adam D. Ryback, you suck. I got an idea for you to work on. Don't hurt others in the ring and have a character.
Huh. Okay. You got me there.
From Cats and Graps, Chubby Cupcake on Twitter.
Hell of a name.
Ryback says no one wants to see a woman to do a 10-star headlock takeover, which is funny considering no one wants to see him do anything.
Well, a lot of people want to hear me talk every week because they tune into this podcast and they show up to the weekly events every week to see me. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And I have a following worldwide of millions of people. So go fuck yourself, you dumb bitch.
Nathan Legend, Litman316. Ryback sounds like a complainer. Go brush your cave teeth with a long Fred Flintstone. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
It's just these. My whole thing with all this is people are responding. They're not responding to the podcast. They're responding to the video that was put out. They didn't even listen to the whole thing. So it's like I just shake my head at every single one of these.
I don't know if this one takes the cake. From Bryce, Glorious One on Twitter. This is coming from a guy, it had the quote about the shake of their ass. This is coming from a guy who has bigger tits than half of the women's roster.
Why would he? I would disagree with that completely. I don't know. I don't know how do I respond to that? Like what does that mean? So what does that mean if I have bigger tits than half the roster?
That's a double-edged sword. I don't know. I think he's kind of.
Does he want me shaking my ass? Would that turn him on? I don't know.
King of World Style. Excuse me. There's a village deprived of an idiot whenever Ryback gives an opinion on the current state of wrestling. Somebody think of that village.
I don't
really get that one either.
One.
Some are just the same thing. Oh, Cody Collar.
Ryback,
stop being sexist. You were carried more often than not in your matches. The women in WWE are way better than you. And then a picture of Sasha Banks holding up her boss ring.
God, what a fucking mark! It's just so like I can't even respond to these. They are so clueless about wrestling, about life, and about themselves. It's unfortunate.
From Kevin Gade, Real Kezin. Yeah, Ryback, we definitely don't want to see them wrestle. That's why we have the Mae Young Classic, the women main eventing Raw and pay-per-views.
I don't really know. I've talked about how I appreciate their wrestling, and I like their wrestling. It's just simply adding more character stuff at different points, and some of them do already. So I don't really. The Mae Young Classic is fine. What are they all wearing, Pat, during the Mae Young Classic? Are they all covered up?
I really haven't watched yet, but I'm gonna assume they have wrestling gear on. They're gonna show their bodies.
Okay, I hope. I bet somebody shake their ass on that whole thing, or I'm sure there's. It's not, God, it's just these people, they're looking at it from solely their point of view and not all audiences. They don't understand that is what makes wrestling special, is that you can do all this stuff and appeal to as a performer, the more audiences you appeal to, the more money you could potentially make.
From Big Man Jezza, Harry L99. I love how people have two names on Twitter. If you shook your ass more, maybe you'd been the top guy that you've been telling people you were for the last year.
I don't think I've ever recalled telling people I'm the top guy or anything of that nature. I've just shared my instances of things during that period of what happened, and with my fans to let them know the backstory of everything going on. So keep being misinformed, buddy. I'm sure you're going to have a very successful, long life.
I think we got plenty of insults. Maybe we'll wrap it up on this one. From Natalie with a nice little unicorn. From at This Is Bliss. Yeah. Wow, your personality is just as shitty as your wrestling.
Again, it's a stereotypical wrestling fan, and I wish these people nothing but love and success in their future, even though I know that will avoid them heavily because they're very undeserving of that. But I still wish them the best and block them from ever knowing anything of following me and communicating with me in the future. So it's again talked about. Now, I've never met a bad person at a meet and greet, and because most of these people, if not all of them, they just don't lack the intestinal fortitude to have the courage to do that in person. Nor should they, because they'll get fucking put in their place. So I wish them the best. So just sucks. Okay. People are like, that was a little portion of what this week from a fake headline. And someone that wanted to get a shitty point across about me that completely just missed the entire thing, and that people will simply that people read fake news and like to react to fake news rather than because they want to be offended. That's what they want. So that's what that keeps them living another day. So I hope I helped you guys live another day. God bless you.
And that concludes Mean Tweets. Anything else you want to mention?
This podcast actually. I wanted a shout out to Jefferson's Bourbon. They've communicated with me that maybe possibly going forward, doing something with the podcast. And we always do kind of different drinks of the night that, for the podcast. And I was always kind of been a Jack and Maker's Mark guy. I've never had Jefferson's bourbon. And tonight was the first time I've had it. And fuck, Pat, it was great. It was smooth. I used it with the Zevias. And I told you you should check it out. We had a little Jack run down in Louisville. And this is good quality stuff. I'm going to check out the Reserve next time. It was a little pricier. I wanted to try their basic one, which is a little more than the regular Jack. And it was well worth it. So shout out to Jefferson's Bourbon. You can follow them on Twitter, guys.
You can follow me on all platforms at Buck Never Stops.
And I'm at Ryback22 on Twitter. The big guy, Ryback22 on Instagram. Ryback247 on Snapchat. And the official podcast, the Twitter for this podcast, at CWTBG on Twitter. Thank you guys for listening. You've just listened to another episode of Conversation with the Big Guy.
We, the entertainment-loving people, demand the best unlimited wireless plan ever from AT&T.
I thought I raised you better than to make demands like that.
You know what? We want even more than that. We want AT&T to give us unlimited entertainment.
What else do you want, a flying car?
Well, maybe HBO included in our plan.
How about a unicorn?
And we want to watch all our favorite shows without paying overages.
Good luck with that.
And we want all of this, plus we want to save $25 on our monthly DirecTV bill.
But you can save me $25?
Well, yeah.
I'm proud of you, son.
Only AT&T offers you unlimited data with HBO included and never pay overages. Visit your local AT&T store and get AT&T Unlimited Plus, our best wireless deal on unlimited data. Plus, save $25 per month on DirecTV. It's entertainment your way.
After 22 gigabytes of data usage, AT&T may slow speeds. Plan includes Stream Saver and videos will stream in standard definition unless you turn it off. $25 DirecTV savings requires AT&T.